Welcome back to PWC Qualifiers Day 3. 3 of your quarterfinalists are locked in. One spot still left up for grabs, and two teams looking to grab it. Pittsburgh Knights going up against Flashpoint, the console team that's upset everyone along the way, and now stand a big test up against the Pittsburgh Knights. Blue, your console boys, they're still alive. They got one more win before they can qualify to the quarterfinals, but it's going to be their biggest test yet, maybe.
Well, this is a rough one, I'm not going to lie. I was expecting them to play Kenga, and, you know, you go through the motions in a tournament, and you're like, okay, that team beat this team beat that team, so theoretically we should beat this team, and we shouldn't beat that team. But it all comes down to matchups. I was saying earlier, if they have to play Kenga, to me they have a good chance because they can out-tank Kenga in the matchup. But with Knights, you've got Ricotta on Strix. You've got Skeppy, who's been popping off this weekend. So Flashpoint has a big
Do you think there is as clear a path forward as maybe you saw with Kanga, where you're thinking, all right, our front lines, if you're saying, you know, the front line for Flashpoint can match up well against Kanga, do you see maybe an avenue forward against the Knights where certain roles match up very well, or anyone has to step up in particular if you're Flashpoint?
I think Flashpoint has the better off-tank with Goodlad. So I would hope that Goodlad can step up. I mean, we've seen Goodlad play all sorts of things all season. We even seen him play Buck earlier this week in the Console Wars finals. He has been tremendous. I mean, to me, he's the best flex right now in console. We've seen him play Grok this year. We've seen him play Victor. We've seen him play Khan. We've seen him play main tank as well. I mean, if you go all the way back throughout his career, he's been a main tank for an entire season. He's been a flex for an entire season. They won Spring LAN. He was playing damage at the time.
That's right.
And he's been playing tremendous this weekend. You know, him and Legacy both as the two tanks kind of weren't all there during the console wars. You know, maybe a little bit of a slow start. That loss there kind of humbled the both of them. They both are walking differently in the hotel, and they're speaking differently, and they know that if they lose, they go home. They also know, and Goodlad especially, knows that they're the last hope for console.
That's right, and you know, yesterday they experienced that. They knew going into their matchup against All Business, it was win or go home. Not only did they win convincingly with a 3-0 victory over All Business, and I'll admit, I was very surprised. I think a lot of people were very surprised with what they showed yesterday, so they can hang with some of the best players in the world, and that they, in fact, are as well some of the best players in the world. And, you know, while we may say they match up better against this team versus this team, you saw how close they were in a couple matches against SSG. They're going up against a Knights team that has lost already today.
I thought the Knights were going to win this whole thing.
So a lot can change. You talk about emotions. You know, I know that there's a lot of kind of level-headed, you know, veteranship on that roster that can keep everybody in check. But when you're playing as the Knights earlier in the winner's bracket, there's not as much pressure. You know, if you win that one, you're into the quarterfinals. If you lose, you still have another chance in the loser's bracket. But not anymore. This is you win and you move on to the knockout round, or you lose and you go home. And after everything we've seen from the Knights, the progress they've made this split, I don't think they're ready to go home right now. I certainly don't think they expected to be in this position. And we mentioned Goodlad from Flashpoint, the guy he's going up against in G-Bunny. I mean, he's going to have to counter out a lot of what you mentioned Goodlad brings. G-Bunny's going to have to do just the same.
Yeah, G-Bunny is definitely going to have to step up. We saw them earlier, and you say, you know, there's a lot of pressure on them because it's an elimination match, but I don't think it's too much more pressure than they had in the winner's bracket, because their expectations coming into this tournament were super high.
Yeah.
Gore and I said, you know, if you take away Split 1, they finished third overall. They had expectations to win this. I thought they were going to win this. Now they're down in the loser's bracket. G-Bunny in that first set didn't look comfortable on the Khan, didn't look comfortable on the Atlas. He was having a tough time. He played Ashe. He played the Ashe better than he did the Khan and Atlas in those other games, but he's going to have to really step up, him and Simsalou as well.
Yeah, those are highlights from this morning, by the way, and you can see those sudden moments of burst where the G-Bunny that we've seen over the second split, as you pointed out, if you just take the 14 games from Split 2, they're in third place. That's kind of what they need to cycle back to, I think. I think confidence should be high here if you're the Pittsburgh Knights. You come into this tournament technically as the 2nd seed, just one behind Space Station Gaming. Flashpoint, again, technically 9th seed, now have moved themselves into the round 3 of the losers bracket. So this one, it's another one I think still you lean towards the Knights, the veteranship, the growth that we've seen out of them in the Premier League this split. It caters to you leaning their way. I still think there's some unpredictability with Flashpoint, though. The improvement and the cleanliness, honestly, of a lot of their wins yesterday could catch the Knights off guard.
There's a lot of things that could be running through people's minds. I mean, if Flashpoint wins this, people are going to say, how good is this console team?
Yeah.
Then again, the other PC teams already qualified, the top 4 and the ones that qualified today, they're going to look and say, okay, this console team is serious,
Yeah.
And the Knights are going to say, we expected to win this and we lost to a console team. And
that's right.
Does that make all business feel a little bit better? I mean, there's so many things that are going to run through everyone's mind if Flashpoint's able to pull this out. Cinderella story, of course. Are they able to keep it going? I mean, as an analyst, I don't know. But as a fan of console,
that's right.
I hope.
Right. As a console man, you hope they can. I mean, again, seeds 1, 3, and 4 coming into this tournament already qualified to the quarterfinals. Still waiting on either 2 or 9 between the Knights and Flashpoint. It's sure to be a good matchup. I think the Knights probably brush off kind of the game from earlier today, come back in, revitalized, look at this one as what it is, a game that they're favored in, and then maybe step forward after that. Map bands, bottom of your screen, Jaguar Falls and Frog Isle taken away by Flashpoint. Jaguar Falls by the Knights, Brightmarsh, and Splitstone Quarry as well. Do you agree with Flashpoint taking away Jag Falls?
I agree with them taking away Frog Isle because...
Oh, wait, yeah, Frog Isle.
They took away... Oh, I didn't even notice that the Jaguar Falls was on the other side.
Right,
but Frog Isle is a map that they've banned every single week in the PCL. Yes. They banned it every single time they've had to play here this weekend. They just saw the Knights play very, very well on it earlier. So, I mean...
So I think that's a fine ban to take off. You're right, Jaguar Falls was the other team, but Frog Isle taken away by Flashpoint. Pittsburgh Knights select Ascension Peak for the first pick of this best of 5, looking to put their best foot forward first. Now we can dive back in. There's been a lot of bouncing back and forth kind of between metas with these teams where, the Knights face Hype Unit Console, and then they go up against Kanga today. Now they drop back down against a console team, so they kind of have to go bounce back and forth. I don't think too much maybe changes strategy-wise. It's maybe these little changes. And one big thing that the Knights leaned on in their win over the Hype Unit Console team was that Strix for Ricotta.
Yeah, so the Knights here banned out the Vivian Victor, of course, because they're going against a console team. But you see Strix being first picked. We saw that as a huge pick for Flashpoint yesterday for Skeppy. Here's an interesting tidbit. We've been saying, or me especially, of saying, Simsalu's not really, he hasn't woken up yet.
Yeah,
he's not really awake. So they just let Maeve go through. They let Eevee go through.
Sure.
And they picked the Maeve. So and they have the Strix. So Ricotta Sims, there's their picks. I don't expect the Eevee to come through unless, of course, Flashpoint use it. The reason why I would say that the console team is going to use it is because Skeppy's on his keyboard.
That's true. That's right. There's only a couple of members of Flashpoint actually still playing back on the controllers. So a few of them, 3 of them, in fact, have pivoted to mouse and keyboard. I know Prosper Logic was on the controller, and he still looked great in the matches up to this point. So I can't imagine he looks worse at all. I assume he continues his same level of play here. Knights grab themselves Strix, Maeve, and Barrack. 3 phenomenal picks, I think, for the roster that they have. Ash and Khan, so some off-tank aggression. Pair that with an Io, I think makes a lot of sense.
Luna.
And then grab yourselves Leon. I mean, between Skeppy and Prosper Logic, both can play it at the highest level. We saw a lot of that out of Skeppy yesterday as well.
Yeah, and I mean, Leon, very good against Maeve, kind of like the anti-flank, sitting in the back line, protecting Io. Io, though, can put out some damage as well.
That's true.
But Ascension Peak was played for Flashpoint yesterday. I think it was the last game that they closed the set out on, the third game. And they ran the double support with Grok.
True.
And remember, I was saying the Strix with the combo duo of the DPS, that was like their bread and butter. They get the Strix taken away from them, and they were still able to win because the Grok was the big play. We do see Barrack into play and a Ruckus. So Barrack Ruckus into a Grok, that's not good. and we could see a Grok come out for Flashpoint here. It all depends on if they're able to take this Ruckus.
I agree. They're hovering it for now. Grok, a big part of the game plan pretty much throughout the set yesterday that Flashpoint were able to take over all business. Still thinking long and hard about it. I mean, they have to know. If you're the Knights, you have to be considering the fact that a Grok is in the cards for Flashpoint, very much so, as a cornerstone of their composition in a lot of their wins yesterday. Furia locked in for the healer.
Go ahead.
They are going to round out with the Ruckus. So now, up to Flashpoint, what you pivot to. You leave this last damage pick open to some flex. Grok, I agree, maybe jumps to the forefront of my mind.
That is a very aggressive comp from the Knights, even with the Strix in there. The Inflame can provide the speed and the damage amp for everyone on that team. That's pretty dangerous when you have a Barrack and a Ruckus as your front lines. But same time, I mean, Flashpoint used Grok. It worked out for him against a PC team yesterday. Knights, very, very good PPL team, but the Buck could come out as well.
Interesting.
Could be spicy.
Okay, they lock it in. Do you like them rounding out their composition with a Buck here?
I think Skeppy's going to be the Buck on keyboard, so
yeah,
I like the Knights draft better.
Yeah, I think I'm still scared of the Strix Mave if I'm playing against Simsalou and Ricotta specifically. Pair that with the Furia, sudden aggression looks good for them. Sudden aggression is maybe what Flashpoint needs to counter out the Knights. Can the Cinderella story of the Console League team continue? We'll go down to your casters to find out.
Indeed. Can it continue? That's the biggest question today. I mean, the Knights, no slouches at all whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, Flashpoint definitely have their work cut out for them. It's going to be a hard-fought battle for them, and PK are just going to have to bring their A game to make sure they can win.
I feel like Flashpoint's kind of straying away from what got them the win, too. Blue was mentioning the Grok. I feel like they could have stuck with that. They could have kind of pushed for that in their draft. Ruckus would have been pretty good at least at running the Grok down, but either way, they ended up going with Buck on a pretty open map. I feel like it might be too easy for the Strix to just stop that Buck before he can do much of anything.
I agree with that too. I mean, it's all down to positioning, your positional awareness as well, and being able to know where you are in relative space to the enemy team is going to be able to set up that Strix for plenty of kills, plenty of headshots, and plenty of damage. I mean, it's going to be, once again, an uphill battle for Flashpoint, man. I mean, they are going up against a monstrous team. And as one of the only, well, really the only remaining console team left in the bracket, I mean, they've got a lot to prove.
I'm just going to say this really quick. I highly doubt Prosper Logic is actually on Alacrity. If it is, it's because he thinks he's going to get Dove and is using it just for more mobility. Eminence, more than likely what he's running. We'll find out on his first presence. And yep, 906 means that it will be Eminence here. Ruckus actually really aggressive time from the main, but the Ruckus immediately taking down Storm Avatar.
They both come around the corner, coming out swinging. My goodness. 2 kills for Simsalou, a double. 1 for G-Buddy. Make that a single. But Goodlad's going to find 2, but at what cost? The costs of the fight. I mean, 42% for Pittsburgh Knights and Flashpoint are just going to end up respawning, coming out of their base, and man, oh man, are they looking good.
A lot of aggression from high mobility characters. Very difficult for controllers to react. I believe, just correction, I think that Storm Avatar is the only one keyboarding on Flashpoint. That's what I was told.
Yeah, that's what I was
So
thinking.
him going down immediately, no one else can really react really quickly to that aggression. Skeppy, I'm not sure how much leg day he's running, but it's enough to get all the way back there onto Ricotta and burn him down.
2.
Just enough for him to take that kill.
Well, Simsalou's all the way in the back. He's putting pressure on the Storm Avatar. He's already being dealt with the last hit from Zerini. Same thing. Same case for Prosper Logic, getting them both low, but Cuss is left on the point. He's the one that's staying behind the pillars. He's going to be able to go down, but Zerini's going to make sure that he gets a triple of his own. Goodlad's being followed up with, and he's going to go down. Ricotta's also on the point. They're just stacking, killing, and capturing points. First point for Pittsburgh Knights, and a successful push.
And I don't think it's going to be the last with how that looked for them. Prosper Logic having to back up here. Bunny Simsalou, they are the pair to watch in this game. They're going to be so aggressive all over the back line of Flashpoint, especially since it's basically only the Leon and the Io. They're going to have to figure something out. Bunny gets found out early by Goodlad, but just managed to get away.
Oh, wow,
Perfect
the fire
by Cuss. Keeps him alive, and a stun, too. Great play by the support to keep his off-tank alive.
Very, very good power strike. You heard it flash out, and the clock also strikes midnight, but Ricotta is still going to go down. Zerini even wants a piece. He wants to go in the back fight. Storm Avatar, he's going to get him, but Prosper is going to avenge his fallen teammate. The Enlightenment goes out. Neo, but unfortunately, you're just not going to be able to to fight against some of these teams, these players, man. They are putting on this aggression. You get rid of Zarini, he's off of the point, but they've got a minute 40 and a good kill on the Legacy too. It's just going to be able to keep that pressure.
Zarini just baits them into Ricotta's sightline. A couple misplays from the Knights, but it doesn't end up mattering in the end. 2 kills from Prosper. Just ends up going back in their favor because of Ricotta coming back on that respawn. He was the first one to die, so he's the first one back. Now they're setting up for this. Zarini 7-0 currently pushing on the payload. They know Skeppy's coming from the right. They see Legacy over here as well. Ricotta barely takes any damage from that flank. Eminence does not connect, so he stays perfectly healthy. You're able to watch these angles. Zarini still moving the card. Has Dome Shield if he chooses to use it, but it looks like the aggression tried to come in, but got forced out by both tanks on the side.
Well, Zarini's eating a lot of damage from Prosper in the back. He's going to take care of him. A good presence on the cuss already, and he's firing openly. A good enlightenment to follow that up. You've got a double for Prosper, and now they're being able to force the Pittsburgh Knights back, but you've got Dome Shield. You've got Inflame as well. G-Bunny's back on the point. Just a contest for a little bit longer, but it won't even matter because he won't be able to push that in with 45 seconds left.
I think he was just trying to get some more ult charge. Looks like he's not quite there yet, so just ran in to get some damage. Everyone on Flashpoint backs up to buy some more items. Skeppy picks up Cauterize 2. Looks like a Wrecker 2 picked up by Prosper Logic as well. So itemization, fairly even across the board. Small advantage towards the Knights, as expected, that you get a 300 credit boost for capturing the neutral point at the start of the round. Bunny gets caught out here, but this Inflame might flip this around. Maybe this is a trap for Flashpoint.
Already, but G-Bunny was already looking pretty low when that Inflame got used, so Skeppy is the one that's going to have to be able to fight. Dome Shield gets dropped. They're looking at more and more people. Skeppy goes down first. You got Legacy, the assert dominance, but the firing right into the air, right on top of him. Focus fire ends up with Legacy dead in the middle of assert dominance, but Simsalou is going to find 1 kill. So is Zarini. They're going to be able to find enough to potentially end this game, or at least end the round, I should say. Prosper Logic is down. Skeppy jumps back in, but it's not going to be enough because he soars right over, and Pittsburgh Knights ease their way into a win.
One thing Legacy's going to have to learn is that people can actually react to assert dominance in this league. Up is a direction people can look, and it burned him down before he could touch. Good news for Flashpoint, though. That means assert dominance is still going to be up and available for the next fight, able to buy some time and do what they need. If they can buy time, maybe they can slow down the dive from the Knights because they are going to continue to be that aggressive. They did burn the Dome Shield. Begon was used in response, but it didn't end up finding much of anything, so definitely important how these ultimates get used here. Want to see exactly what the Knights are working with. Hexafire, Midnight, Flashbang, all available. No Inflame, but that will charge pretty quickly. Prosper Logic also topping the damage charts. Good Lad having a pretty great game too so far, 7-3, but he's just not the target. It's Legacy, it's Storm Avatar. That's who the Knights are focusing on, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Yeah, you've got the Flashbang, you got Midnight, you got Hexafire, you got some ultimate stuff. Same thing for Flashpoint, but the Midnight once again being used. Everyone's grouped up over there. They're gonna have to back off. He's using the Hexafire. G-Bunny has a Assert Dominance all the way in the back, but Cuss is gonna be able to slide himself right out of that sticky situation right there. And G-Bunny stuck in the corner. He's being fired at freely, but Simsalou in the back line wreaking hell on top of Flashpoint. Skeppy is gonna go down on top of him. Legacy is stuck in a one-on-one with G-Bunny, but he's still, with that shielding and that healing, is gonna be hard to take down. Simsalou is well aware of his friend G-Bunny up in the top row, but he's gonna be able to capitalize on that as well with 72% and a good snipe and a good dagger. They're gonna leave Prosper dead as well. Ricotta is gonna be able to go down, but Good Lad still is gonna fall 96% to 99 to a point capture to a 3-0 for the Pittsburgh Knights.
What a disastrous mid-fight from Flashpoint. They had to I don't think they could have had less map control unless they stayed in their spawn. They didn't leave that back corner whatsoever. The Knights just completely surrounded them. The Assert Dominance just ended up standing in front of a ruckus. They need to find something out quickly, at least in terms of how they want to control the map, because they just seem afraid to leave those corners. Knights right now, Simsalou taunting here on the back left side just to keep vision. Sounds like an Inflame potentially coming in to burn these tanks. Simsalou finds Prosper, and that's exactly what Knights want to see to start this fight.
You heard Incinerate them, and Simsalou will deliver in kind by finding the opening kill on the Prosper Logic. Good Lad will be able to take down Simsalou, but at what cost? The rest of his team, the Pittsburgh Knights, are pushing in. The overpower goes through. They are able to get Zarini, make sure that they punish him for pushing up a little bit too far. Good Lad, once again on this con, is doing a lot despite how heavy his team is getting pressured right now. Storm Avatar goes down, but still a minute 30, and they're still alive, they're still living, and Ricotta is not backing off. They will stand their ground, and they will fight.
So Nice pressure from the Knights once they try to get back in. Prosper goes back to spawn, re-heals. Health is pretty good across the board for Flashpoint, but a couple ultimates are up for the Knights. I would expect to see Dome Shield coming up very soon, paired with the Hexafire, but it's not really finding anything yet. Everyone in Flashpoint's just in cover.
Ricotta is going to go down thanks to Skeppy. Buck's already in the back line. He's going buck wild. He's going to be able to find not one kill, but two. Legacy is going to be the one that gets the last hit. The damage came out from Skeppy, but Zerini is going to get shot right in the back. G-Bunny's trying to fight, but once again, they have to back off.
This is the hardest 1v5 I've ever seen Good Lad have to play. 12-4 on his team. I cannot believe the performance that he's having. Honestly, that's why I'm saying that, because it's crazy by him. Prosper is doing a great job outputting damage, but Good Lad is always there to find and finish the kill. Buck not having the greatest game, but it's so hard into a Strix. He has so much overwhelming damage. Ricotta will be connecting those shots for sure. Legacy locking down the far right side. Might be moving in to use something. A combo was used by the Knights. Hexadome Shield, so only really Midnight up for them, but that could be enough as long as they catch someone out in time to get a pick. Probably waiting for some damage to work off of. Bunny just poking and prodding over here on the left. Bunny Simsaloo now moving in, but Simsaloo backs up, just can't find it. Flashbang might start this fight.
Nice, actually. Yeah, Flashbang is going to start the fight. It's going to force Good Lad back. Once again, the clock strikes Midnight for several times throughout this match. Fire Strike goes out to see if they can get a stun. Not going to be able to do it, but they will be able to find the kill onto Good Lad. Stun onto Zerini, kill onto Ricotta, but the fight's still breaking out all over the place. Let's fight, says Ash, as she lands directly in the middle of the archway, managing to get a couple stuns, but it won't matter. They will actually still get stunned and rolled potentially by the Pittsburgh Knights, with Prosper Logic going down first. Cuz being taken out though, that's absolutely huge. They got rid of their healer. The overtime timer's still there, but G-Bunny still wants to fight. They want to be able to do this, but once again, what are you gonna do when the man's actually healing in front of your face? He has too much DR and a successful defense from Flashpoint.
Honestly, shout out to Storm Avatar there for catching Skeppy in that last moment. The healing from the IO, too much to deal with. Not only does Buck have the DR when he uses the recovery, but he also has in his build more than likely Rapid Sustain, probably 3 or 4, which gives him that extra level of Rejuvenate, makes him even harder to finish off when he's low HP. Couple ultimates available for Flashpoint. You have the Begone, you have the Overpower. That Overpower has to connect, and Good Lad has been connecting a lot of good kills already so far through this game. That's what I think we have to look out for here. That doesn't connect. I don't know what Flashpoint have. Knights have no ults, but they're getting close to a few. Dome Shield, Hexafire, that could really swing this in their favor.
I mean, the Rezilla is coming online for Flashpoint, so good on them for optimizing properly and accordingly to the situation that they are being presented with right now. Pittsburgh Knights, though, 3-1 with already opening percentage on the point. Once again, the fights are breaking around the place, and they actually do get the overpower that's going to be really, really big. They actually have it directly on the G-Bunny. They're firing, and he's still alive! How is the man still alive and you still get the kill on a Good Lad? Simsaloo's in the back. How is he living for that long? A double kill for the man with the knives, and he's gonna have to back up, but another kill for Simsaloo despite that. 87 health, but that's no problem whatsoever for the man with the daggers. 36% for the Pittsburgh Knights. You've got Hexafire, you've got Dome Shield. My goodness, what can you do to be able to stop this?
When you hear about Maeve being hard to kill, just rewatch that video if you want some proof. She just does not go down. 78%. They have to make it to the objective soon, but there's a Strix in the way. So much damage. Maybe the Ashe can dash down mid. It doesn't look like they're watching those stairs, but doesn't manage to make it in time. Dome Shield's in the way, and the Knights take a 4-1 victory on Ascension Peak.
What do you do in this situation? I mean, it was absolutely flawless, the perspective that the Knights have. I mean, except for, that one
Flashpoint
point,
had a solid defense.
They did. They had a very, very solid defense towards the end. But once again, dude, I mean, do you know what happened with G-Bunny right there?
With G-Bunny in the end? With
the
overpower?
overpower.
I think it was just the Leon shooting him, and I don't believe Prosper had the Eminence cooldown.
Okay.
That's the only possibility to me.
Okay.
Eminence used, then Overpower comes in. Overpower is only like 4 or 5 seconds. If you don't have Eminence, Leon really doesn't do that much damage.
Right.
Prosper wants to hold on to his Grace cooldown so he has a dash to get away when Simsaloo comes in. If he uses it, Simsy comes in, gets a 3K.
Well, Pittsburgh Knights, once again, 1-0 at such a peak already said and done. Right after this break, we'll be right into Game 2.
Oh, despite a small hiccup, the Pittsburgh Knights are able to grab themselves the 4-1 win on Ascension Peak. We talked this week, or really yesterday, and on the death segment to start off this set, that Simsalou really needed to kind of step up and get out there and help the Pittsburgh Knights cross that finish line. Blue, I think he did that a few times over in that game.
He did, especially towards the end there. He was one shot. I think he had like 87 HP left.
Yeah.
Buck, one shot as well. Buck lost that one.
Yeah, he did lose that engagement. And when you have something like that on your team, the ability, the sudden pop-off potential, things always tend to go in your favor. Top damage in the game is over to Prosper Logic at 71,000. Healing, a little bit discrepant, though. Cuss Cutie, call it 100,000 for him, about 44,000 behind him is Storm Avatar. And Ricotta was able to hang in there damage-wise with that Strix. Not quite the incredible performance out of it, but I think Simpsy at 12, 5, and 14, a big difference maker. You have a Maeve, and then Zerini at 14 and 4. You have the ultimate front line controlling that area, and then when you have Simpsy on the Maeve at 12, 5, and 14, controlling kind of the back line, doing the flanky thing, seems to work out in your favor.
Yeah, we talked about G Bunny having to step up because Good Lad could outplay him in the off-tank position. It goes the other way around for the main tank position. I mean, Zerini is outplaying Legacy. Simsalou is absolutely disgusting. Look at that.
Wow.
He still
That was
lived,
close.
and then right here, hits the jump, finishes off the triple kill. Disgusting. Maeve's got a lot of DR, and Buck kind of lost some DR over the last couple months, so he's able to sustain himself a lot longer these days, and
Just needed a few more daggers to clean up the kill, and I thought in the moment that the Be Gone was going to get him off of the map. It damaged him down to double-digit health. I don't have to get the kill, though. I love how, like, lengthy some of those highlights are, and only in a good way, where he is extending these fights just so much longer. And that's always been kind of the threat with the Knights, where they're, I think, a well-rounded team. They have guys in every position that can, you know, really make a difference in any regard. But that sudden potential for a big triple kill, you know, a big double kill to kind of turn things around, that's what Simsalou brings. And I'm scared. If I'm Flashpoint, I'm nervous that he started off this set that well. I think they came in, I wouldn't say they had a chip on their shoulder from earlier today. You know, I think that more frustrated than anything. But I think came out with something to prove, and that's what you get with Simpsy.
yeah, another thing is in that replay when Prosper Logic on the Leon hit his ultimate, the Enlightenment, Zerini's shield went up. Simsalou gets the kill.
True.
But that shield right there, that was perfect.
Yep.
It was blocking 3 people plus the Enlightenment. So not only is he getting a lot of kills alongside Simsalou, he's putting up good utility from his abilities as well. But that was tough. If I'm Flashpoint, I'm going back to our game plan from yesterday.
Is Shattered Desert a part of that game plan, you think?
Yeah.
Knights picked Ascension Peak. You think Shattered Desert's a good pivot here for Flashpoint?
They played well against SSG on it. Lost 4-3
That's almost an understatement.
in a 99-99.
Great, yeah.
They won on it yesterday against All Business. I think they're taking them here specifically on purpose. I think they should go back to the GOATs they were running yesterday.
Sure.
To be honest. I mean,
I miss it, dude. That was fun to watch.
Here's the thing. If they lose this game and go down 0-2, most teams would be like, let's just try it. Let's try GOATs or Sky or Desperation. Right. Desperation times now. You don't want to go down 0-2.
That's true.
This ain't a 7-game set. This is 5 games. You need to go now.
Now could be the time to pivot, and
they might take the Strix here. There it is.
And I think that is smart from them, because although Ricotta didn't have the same pop-off performance as he did against Hype Console, that threat is there. Same with Simsalou. The threat for that sudden, incredible performance with Ricotta on that Strix, I think, is too much to keep rolling the dice on. You know, one of these games he's going to end up connecting, and it's going to be very painful if you're the Knights. And conversely, I think Flashpoint have made the Strix look very, very good over the last few days. I think it's good to take it away from the Knights and great to give it to yourselves.
Yeah, Skeppy's been playing amazing on the Strix. What's really crazy, right, is that this is PC versus console. There's 3 players on Flashpoint using keyboards, is from what I've been told. But yesterday, 4 or all 5 of them used controllers, and they won. At MSI, 4 of them were using keyboards and they lost. And plug the controllers back in, boys. Plug the controllers back in.
Yeah, we might need them. Might need them here against the Knights. And They go down 1 early, not something they had to run into yesterday in their set against All Business. Didn't drop a single map. Now Flashpoint looking to round out their top 3 picks as Barrick and Ash go over to the Knights. Lock down a little bit of that front line presence. You know, Zarini, what he brought with Barrick in the last game, if he can continue that, it's good for them. Genos still looms large for the Knights. If you pair that with the Barrick, things might be good for you. They're hovering the Talus.
That might be
That might
be a little
yeah,
BM.
I don't think that's a lock-in Talus.
I will tell you, the con for Good Lad, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing phenomenal on it, even in that last game. There was a moment where they overpowered the Ruckus, and they weren't able to kill him fast enough. He survived, got thrown out of it, stayed on the map, and then they wiped Flashpoint after that. They've got to kill that. They've got to communicate on those much faster. If you're not going to throw him off the map, you need to burn him. Turn and burn in under a second, 1.5 seconds max.
Team, I got him. Turn around and kill him. Go about your day. That's what con sometimes requires if, as you put it, can't get him off of the map. Still,
I don't care if you're in a 1v1 on the other side of the map. You're helping us. Because
somebody turn around and get him.
If we kill Ruckus.
Right. That's a big difference maker. The Hexifier a couple of times really turned things around. We saw that with Sadak earlier in the day today. Ying Cassie locked in here for the Knights. Good tank burn in the Cassie. Good all-around sustain for the Ying. Nara locked in here, or at least being hovered at the moment for Flashpoint. And still seeking that potentially one final damage dealer. If they do end up going a Nara here.
I would like...
Could be a Grok still.
Yeah. Grok would still be good. A lot of open map with the Ying clones and Barrack turrets as well. I like the Inara pivot because Legacy played Ashe last game. He's a good Ashe player against other console players.
Yeah.
But at this level, you've got to go with what you're good at. He's good at Inara, he's good at Makoa, and he's good at Barrack. I don't see him playing Makoa, so Inara, Barrack, give it to him. Barrack's taken, give him the Inara. Leon's going to come out. I would have taken the Grok pretty much.
Yeah, I think Grok worked very well for them yesterday, but it's not going to be here for Flashpoint. They go back to, I think, a relatively tried and true composition, though, with one of Prosper or Skeppy on the Leon. I would assume it's Prosper here on the Leon, give Skeppy the Strix. But round out with the Furia as well. Yeah. Ruckus is the case here for the Knights. Do you like what Flashpoint have picked for themselves?
Ruckus is really good on Shattered, and he's underestimated on that map. Leon's a really good pick for Prosper, but Prosper's Grok into Ying clones, Ruckus, and Barrack, and that aggression on the Tempest paired with Furia, I think that would have been better. I like Pittsburgh Knights draft here.
Yeah, I think what they bring, kind of the all-around, whether it's front line of control, aggressive off-tank play, enough sustain to kind of last through. Granted, Strix and Leon are very bursty. You catch a few too many of those shots, and you're dead no matter how much sustain you have. Flashpoint, they're looking for win number 1 in Game 2.
Game 2, indeed, with a triple frontline composition to be able to start this out. And that's what I like to see. I like to see these triple frontline compositions backed by a Ying. I mean, the Illusory Rift's going to keep a lot of sustain, and I love it. I love to see it.
I also love seeing Custis Ying. I think he's really good at the champion. Definitely makes the most of her abilities, and it's one of the hard healing champions that I think Cuss is very, very good with. I gotta say, though, they were talking about like the Grok or Leon. I think either one is not feeling great into a triple tank on the other side. No matter what, I think either of them would just get overwhelmed by the aggression that the Knights are going to have. We saw how aggressive they were last game with only one tank. Strix is on the board now, and I think he's the main worry, but I don't know how much Leon's going to be able to deal with it. Very early stealth by Skeppy here. Dismounts G-Bunny, but he still has the dash up. Can he find the shots?
You already see that shoulder rear back, and Ash is coming in immediately. The power stance, forcing Skeppy all the way right back around to where his team might be able to regroup. 6% for Flashpoint, though. They've got a little bit of percentage, and they're able to open that up with Sim Salute on the Ruckus. G-Bunny coming in again on the side, forcing them all the way back, but now they're able to converge on him. Skeppy is going to make sure that he goes down without much of a fighting chance.
Very big disconnect from Knights there. They had everybody on Flashpoint jammed into a corner. Flashpoint had 0 map control, and then they fed them 2 kills. We'll have to see how they want to retake this. Very low in main, backs up from the Strix. Strick still trying to control this right lane. Ricotta gets good arrows, gets topped off by Furia. Backing up, and now Knights are surrounding. If they can find a target and collapse on them, this could be a good start to this for them.
It is G-Bunny once again all the way in the back. The shoulder rears back, and now he's already applying pressure to another target, but he goes down once again, despite jumping into the bag like that. Getting a little bit too eager once again. Prosper locked on a 1v1 with Ricotta, but the rest of Flashpoint are coming back around to try and help him. Overtime is available with a flashbang up and Inflame coming up soon, and you already have it. Simsalute goes down once again, and you have 24% for the Pittsburgh Knights with an Inflame that actually gets used to make sure they can clean up what is still available for them.
Knights are playing like it's late game when it's early game. Prosper, it took him about an hour to look down to shoot on the floor and spray, but he did manage to get it done. Pushing up on the right side, both tanks locking them out, and again, I think Knights are just being a little dark. Now they're playing behind the shield. This is the kind of slow aggression that they need to have if they want to be able to push them out. Good Lad is going to lock that down, though. Khan is not easy to burn, especially for tank damage. We'll see where they want to approach from. Ricotta does find Skeppy, and that's going to definitely sign the go for Knights to be able to pressure and finally have the aggression they've been wanting to have all game.
And you already see that Flashpointer backing up in kind, but big game means big damage coming out for Ricotta, and already the Inara is extremely low. Simsalute on the side once again on this ruckus, trying to wreak havoc. He's pretty much just running in there, doing what he can with a minute 40 still available. G-Bunny dashes in, already on top of Storm. Avatar once again might be getting a little bit too aggressive. Nobody's able to really follow up. Simsalute does take care of Skeppy. Ricotta gets rid of Legacy, but still maybe too aggressive. How do you try and slow it down, Chris?
Well, not even just slowing it down, but at least going for the same target, right? Yeah,
right.
Simsalute won that 1v1 with Skeppy, but look at where they're positioned, right? Simsalute goes one more dash in. He can also shoot Storm Avatar. Then they turn and fight Skeppy. Think about how the Knights played map 1. Ruckus and Maeve moving together, diving on the same target. That's what was winning Knights the fight. Not just the fact that they were aggressive. They were getting aggressive onto the same things. Ricotta fighting on the side. Try to burn down Legacy, assuming the wall is going to come out, and it does, which means Inara's kind of low on cooldowns. If Simsy can get re-healed, Good Lad's aggression stops that. They can still get aggressive, and they find Storm Avatar in the back.
There's a convergence you were talking about, but Skeppy already with 1, with 2, not a potential third, but once again, his friend Good Lad is able to make sure that he cleans that up, and they also take care of Cuss. They pretty much have gotten them on a team wipe. They've gotten Pittsburgh Knights on the back foot. They have 5 ultimates that are and available for Flashpoint, and also for PK, making 10 ultimates total throughout the game. They've got 35 seconds left to be able to try and push it.
I wouldn't be shocked to see some come out here. As always, if you use ultimates and still lose, there's no way you can lose the game. You have plenty of time to eco. Bunny, very aggressive, shields in front, and Nara's going to body block him. They do force out the Inflame, and now the rest of his team is with them. Bunny's distracting the Inara from spamming, so he does get stunned, but look how far back they've split Flashpoint.
The illusory rift keeping everyone healed back up. I mean, Zarini got chucked for half his health, but he's literally already back to full thanks to that Ying ultimate. Once again, Storm Avatar and Possible Latch are forced all the way back. Ricotta, though, ends up getting picked off. That is absolutely pivotal for them to be able to keep the hold that they have on this payload.
Aggression from Prosper. Actually, Bunny goes in the way in the back, catches Storm Avatar. Prosper does get the trade. Spawner advantage means that's not a bad decision from the Knights. Both tanks now on the side. They need to contest the payload, but Good Lad goes down. His first death on the board, and I don't think Flashpoint are going to be able to retouch, and they can't. 1-1 going into this next fight. Illusory Rift used by the Knights. They're going to have to spend these ultimates if they want to keep up this aggressive pace that they have. They really can't do this without this kind of resources.
Right, and I agree with what you were saying before, man. I mean, they've got to find a way to come to a decision on something, because you see these fights are breaking out. They've got triple front line, but they're breaking out all over the place. It's down to 1-1 now, but literally at what? I mean, I'm just trying to figure out a way how to phrase this. I mean, you're even right now.
Yeah.
Slash lives are looking too good with the triple front line composition. What do you do? The whole point is that you're trying to win early.
You have to get on the same targets. Someone has to spot them. Someone who can get away with being in main. Probably Zarini. Have Zarini spot your targets. Have Bunny and Simsalute wait on the side. They're both so mobile. They can go in. Bunny having a auto buy with 4 items already, all at level 1. But I think that makes sense. You need resilience. You need illuminate. He's going to buy up as time goes on. Prosper finds Bunny. He has the dash. Bunny has the shoulder mash.
Here we go.
No one else is with him right now. Simsalute came in but got immediately melted.
The Hexifier is there, so is the Certain Dominance, but the Overpower, man, they actually take care of that. They try to do what they could, but Zarini, once again, taking care of the Legacy. 18% for Pittsburgh Knights, and they have the flashbang that goes out but hits the shield, falls flat, and therefore none of them are actually blinded. You've got 18% for Flashpoint. They're now able to touch the point and steadily grow and build that percentage. You have the Seismic Crash as well, and the Inflame almost back up, but Illusory Rift, Dome Shield, it's a matter of what you want to use.
Here's the thing here. here. Knights are going so aggressive, they're playing out of the sightline of everybody else. They're basically taking a 2v5 and then losing and going, all right, guys, we'll just push again next time.
Yeah.
They need to find a way to time themselves better. Illusory Rift comes in to keep their team alive, but it's just a trade right now. Inflame gets forced out, and Bunny won't be able to chase down Storm Avatar.
G-Bunny's literally all the way in the back. Once again, they take care of him. They use that Inflame to be able to make sure that Storm Avatar can live, that he can be able to be peeled. Seismic Crash directly up onto Zerini, 63% to 51. That is absolutely phenomenal for Flashpoint to be able to not only find their way in, but to make sure that they can still keep and hold this momentum that they have already.
For Logic backing up. Simply is going to touch the point, not making it just in time. Wrecker burns through the emitter. He goes down right away. Flashpoint in a good position here. I think Knights need to sync up just a little bit more. I can't believe that they're so separated. Yes, Simpsulu and G-Bunny got aggressive at the same time, but A, it was in different locations, and B, they line of sighted the rest of their team. No one else could help them whatsoever. Prosper on a rampage in the backline, burns down 2 more. Going to be a stalemate here while they wait for the respawns, but they need to back up. They need to give a little bit of ground, so these tanks have to get overly aggressive to get into the backline of Flashpoint.
On a 16 streak for the Leon. Once again, you've got Enlightenment, you've got Overpower, you've got Flashbang already ready, and these ultimates are building quickly for Flashpoint. Pittsburgh Knights can't really say the same for them. The minute 40 still available, Flashbang goes out, once again goes wide, does not find its target. Once again, Prosper on Zerini, able to blow him up. Now they swap targets to G-Bunny, but once again, they're actually in the back line. He's just going to be taken care of. There's too much damage coming out on the side of Flashpoint for it to remain relevant for PK.
There's any team that's going to know how to play against overly aggressive triple tank, it's going to be the league that has like a 99-point-something% win rate on triple tank. Flashpoint will know how to beat this draft. You can't play it standard. You have to adapt it. You're never going to get on the upper hand any other way. What they have to do, at least threaten the aggression, bait out the defensive cooldowns, right? G-Bunny pushed on the back of Prosper. Think about that last mid, the way it started. He pushed back onto Prosper. Prosper dashed back. All Bunny had to do was not dash in. Prosper gave up all that ground. They have triple tank they can surround, and then when Flashpoint wants to get aggressive again, that's when you recommit. That's when you have to go for the throat. That's when they're giving you the opportunity. If they're playing this defensive, around a Khan, a Strix, a Leon, they're just waiting for you to come in. That's the strength of double backline, countering that level of aggression, and it's just what the Knights are playing straight into.
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a little bit of a pause here, but once again, 3-1 for Flashpoint already. I mean, Knights have to figure out something. They're 1-7 on Simpsulu. I mean, 1-9 on G-Bunny. They have to make sure that they can use this triple frontline composition to try and close this game out. Or, well, not even close it out. They aren't close enough to do that. They need to find their footing is what I should be saying.
Yeah, and I don't know. You can tell, like, even just looking at the slash lines, you can see the problem. It's their just overzealousness.
Right.
They're trying to make something happen that is not there. Even in Iota. You can't really catch the Strix this early until you have Cauterize, until you have more Illuminate. Bunny had to go with the Rainbow buy, and it wasn't enough early because that Caut 1 isn't going to out damage the Furia heals. The Illuminate 1 is not going to be enough for you to be able to chase him down. So again, they have to find their own opportunity. They have to let them come into them, threaten the aggression, and when they inevitably get to the point where they have to push, that's when they can pounce.
Exactly, and they have to be able to utilize that composition literally to the utmost of its ability. I mean, you were mentioning it before. It can be a bit of a problem when you're having this triple front line perspective. Once again, it is a matter of how they need to approach it. They need to change something quickly because even Zerini, I didn't even notice that. 1-6 on him, 6-5 on Ricardo.
I don't think the Zerini thing's a big problem because what we're seeing is Simpsulu dies, Bunny dies, and then Zerini's just like, well, now I stand on point.
Right.
This is my life. And then he dies inevitably because it's better to die on point than to die running away, deny that extra cap time. That's kind of what's been happening more than anything. And we are back into the game. Flashpoint. Even mid right now, they have early control. I just want to see Knights play a little bit slower.
They are, and it seems like that's at least what they're trying to go for. They're not being as aggressive as they were before until I saw G-Bunny just immediately charge in. But now, look at that. They're actually able to focus on Legacy, but still, Zerini is being taken care of. They use the Illusory Rift to make sure that they keep that healing up, keep everyone as alive as they possibly can. But 36% for Flashpoint already, man. I mean, they are looking extremely good. Storm Avatar uses the Inflame all the way in the back line. They actually use the Overpower as well, but it actually goes wide. 66% for Flashpoint, steadily climbing. PK are now on the point at 31%. With that comeback mechanic, they have to find a way to get back onto the point quickly, because look at the percentage. It is climbing. We are at 58 to 66, and it is not stopping going up.
Now Bunnies might be getting surrounded here by Prosper and Goodlad. He does go down, but he bought so much time. Legacy trying to go into the point, but there's so much damage. Now Goodlad's going to have to more or less feed for it. Simslu's so low in the back, but he manages to get away.
They use the Dome Shield as well. They just drop it directly on the point. Who else can touch? Storm Avatar goes in, but his action's going to be taken care of. The alignment as well, but Simslu gets healed right back up. They PO for Cuss, and he's still going to be alive. A double kill for Zarini. Nice disengaged bolt coming out from Ricotta to make sure they actually keep that pressure going. Goodlad is now one of the only ones remaining, and now the Anar has been dismounted, but still Goodlad was able to touch. The shield goes up, but still a seismic crash comes down. Stuns all around, but still they are holding on to this point fight. They're looking at Legacy. Wall goes up, but he still is taken care of. 3-2 for Pittsburgh Knights.
Knights finally get the cap there, and again, that slower play is all they needed. Yeah, they gave up some cap time, but that's kind of the price you're going to have to pay. You burn Legacy from complete safety, force them in, and then you want to go in. Exactly what the Knights did. They did a horizontal dash instead of a dash straight into the back line, just for rotation purposes. I think it threw Flashpoint off. Legacy now alone on the side. Let's see how the Knights want to end up fighting this. This is where they kind of have to force the aggression. Kind of going in a little bit early, disengage to knock back Prosper, but now it's just Legacy trying to hold them off on this corner, and it's a lot of damage around there. I'm not sure how long that Anar can stay.
Neither can I. I mean, Simslu, G-Bunny, all of them around on the side. Got overpower directly onto him, but you've got a minute and 50 seconds left. They're pushing him all the way back. The shield actually ends up getting taken down by Zarini, and now G-Bunny. The rest of them are all backing up. A minute and 40 seconds left, still available up and on the clock. Prosper Logic actually gets hit, gets taken low, but gets healed right back up by Furia. Get disengaged bolt. They're already firing on him. 140 health left, but he's going to be able to still get out of that situation with G-Bunny on the side applying pressure.
Actually, looks like a little bit of a flank on the far right side. Zarini goes down in main, but Simslu's in the back. Furia heals, though, not enough to deal with.
Oh.
Ricotta gets a kill, but Simslu forces out the Inflame. Skeppy gun is a lot of damage out of the picture, but there's nothing else the tanks can really do. There's just too much healing for them to outdamage.
Ricotta's still there, rolls in, and still gets taken out. A minute and 5 seconds left on the clock for PK to be able to flip this around, try and tie it up, make it even, or even still. They got the next round still. It's just a matter of how, or really, I should say, what they can do to try and close this round out.
Simslu's in a great position here. It got seen, I think. He's mounting a little bit too forward. He has perfect vision here. He doesn't need to go in. If anything, let his team go in, take some damage, back up. But Bunny, I don't like that they're going on both sides. They're peeling back because of that. And now Simslu's flank was completely ineffective. Bunny's going to wait to reheal out of combat more than likely. Maybe Cuss will pull back for him, but I don't think he really needs to. Ricotta very low as well. Could go in for something. Legacy gets marked by Big Game, uses the Earthen Guard, just buying more time. People get low and back up. Knights need to find something that they can do all together. They're not going to be able to convert this payload.
Flashbang goes out. Once again, actually finally hit onto G-Bunny now, but still, no ground has pretty much been given up. The shoulder bash will go in. Zarini's already down. They're already in the backline, putting on so much pressure, but still, they're trying to find their opening. They got the kill on the Skeppy, but Simslu goes down, so does G-Bunny. They're already extremely low. 2 seconds remaining, and that's it. Flashpoint actually managed to defend, but once again, 3-2, since it was their defense. You cannot win the game off of a defense if you're already at 3 points.
Goodlad's on a massive streak, and the Knights do have every ultimate coming up. Flashpoint have most of them on their own side as well. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about how the Knights are trying to play this. I think they made a small misplay on that conversion, for sure. I don't think they should have split on both sides. Simslu had perfect flank positioning, and they kind of just gave it away. There's really no reason for Bunny to try to flank at the same time. And you can tell, those are the two that are struggling for sure. 1-11 on Simsi, 3-12 on Bunny. Both of them near the bottom of the damage chart. Simsi only 10k above the Furia. They just need to do what they did on that last mid. It should work again, but I'm kind of worried now that they have Master Riding. I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned about what that Master Riding is going to do to their heads. Because sometimes when you're mounting fast, you think you can get away with a lot more than you should be able to.
And that's exactly true. They still got their ultimates available, though, and ready. Zarini gets so much damage, though. Excuse me, once again, if he's still trying to be able to fight back. 18% for Flashpoint. Docho gets dropped directly on the Legacy, but look at how low Zarini already is. They have to be able to heal. They usually lose Re-Rip. They use a Hexfire all the way in the back line. They use the Assert Dominance as well. The ultimates are flying through one after the other. So are the bodies. Prosper, Skeppy, Legacy, all of them down. Storm Avatar also done. 55% and a half fast cap available. You are going to be able to capture this point with such an aggressive zone. Look at G-Buddy all the way up in the front.
That's perfect because they have half comeback, so there's no reason not to be pushing that aggressively. Bunny goes down, but not a chance left for Flashpoint to recontest the point. 3-3. If they convert this payload, the game is over. If they defend, they go to one more final point fight. Ricotta gets knocked very low by Prosper Logic. And Goldlad's having a hell of a game. He's still only one death. Overpower connects. It was just to start this snowball off, but Knights are so far away. I don't even know if they're going to get a follow-up kill. Bunny was still on his mount until a second ago.
Neither do I. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left, and PK already have to back up G-Buddy and stay extremely low. Shoulder bash out, wall goes up. Nice wall to be able to combo that. That enlightenment that Leon was able to put out, that Prosper was able to do, because he's able to finish off that little bit of health that he had left. But once again, we're trading 2 for 2, guys, and that's going to be a chance for PK to actually push forward, unless Simsalud goes down, which he just did.
Good lad in the back, cleans up Simsalud, who dove into the back line. Bunny's back, but Bunny should just wait for his team. He doesn't want to get that aggressive when his team is still kind of on the respawn. Good lad disengaging because of Ricotta's angle. Ricotta, great flying, takes out Legacy, but Cuss goes down. I'm not even sure where he was. I think he was by the point, and Prosper just flying through this little corner here.
Yeah, exactly, and here we go. History repeats itself. He's going to go right back around on the side, but Simsalud is able to respond in kind. Once again, they have so many records up on Flashpoint's side. It's going to be extremely difficult for him to be able to continue pushing forward. Backs all the way up. Simsalud, the god on the ruckus.
He needs to get passive heal. He denied himself passive. He hugged the wall. He would have gotten it way sooner, but he wanted across the sight line. Let's see, Bunny, no shield right now. Has to use Barrack shield, but wants to get aggressive instead. Good lad, kind of low. Getting tagged up. Now Bunny might have a good aggressive position up here. No ultimates up for Knights, except for the scout that was just used, which denies the value from the invisibility. Skeppy's so low, and Good lad actually goes down.
They actually have to use a seismic crash, but look at how already low Legacy is. They're keeping on top of him. They're keeping as much damage spread out as possible. The Hexifier, they want to be able to bring out all the big guns, and big guns they have brought, as well as a second game win for the Pittsburgh Knights.
Adaptation finally coming in for the Knights. They realized what was going wrong. Just play it a little bit slower. You don't play into the double back line like that, and that has to kind of be what keeps happening against Flashpoint. They're a team that I think I barely ever see them not run double back line. Ascension Peak was kind of out there for me. A little weird, and it didn't even end up going that well for them. So if they can adapt that play and understand what the off-tanks can and can't do against that composition, this is a good look for the Knights.
Right, exactly. And that's going to have to be how they take this win, once again, 2-0, and try and convert that into more and more momentum for them. I mean, once again, they only have one more game as they have to win. Flashpoint have to change something.
Yeah, and Flashpoint, it's a heartbreaker for them for sure. They need to find something. I mean, if they've been competing for so long, I'm sure they have the gall to be able to, you know, get it all back together. But it's a hard road to climb, especially when you're that close to upsetting this team in the PPL that teams are saying are, you know, on this huge upswing from before.
Well, I mean, once again, 2-0 for the Pittsburgh Knights. Shattered Desert out of the way. Right after this break will be what could be the Knights' last game.
Well, it's close, but this time it's the Knights who come out on top. Flashpoint, something about Shattered Desert keeps them in these games, but a little bit more consistency from the Knights at the end of the day are able to grab them that win. The frontline play, Blue, honestly, I don't think it can be understated how good Goodlad has been playing throughout this set. A massive game from him on the con, and you'll see in a moment in the stats. Simsalud, a bad game on the ruckus, but something just flipped there towards the end, a little bit more concise team play maybe from the Knights pushes them over the end.
Dawson, honestly, I can't even tell you what happened. I would say that the triple tank is a better sustain once, the cauterizers come online late, but that wasn't the case. I mean, G-Bunny, Simsaloo, they were getting
this is
thrown in a box.
Yeah, this is another one of those games, I think, where you look at stats top to bottom and you're saying, one team probably won when they didn't. Prosper Logic at 19-4-17, Skeppy 12-8-15, 12-2-21 on Good Lad. And everyone else, the only positive member of the Knights is Ricotta at 10-7-7.
4-12, 5-14, 6-10. I mean, this was their game. Flashpoint had this 3-1, I think it was.
Yeah.
At its highest peak.
Yeah.
I think ultimately they just had a misplay, maybe two. It could have just came down to one. One misplay towards the end, and it all goes downhill in that last round when it was 3-3. They made a couple mistakes in the 2 rounds before that.
Right.
Plus, Knights have comeback mechanic. They do have the better composition for the capture with triple tank, so they got 3 big, meat bullet eaters just sitting there on point. But
I mean, maybe that's, I think that's kind of the triple tank slash lines, maybe. I mean, you can afford to soak up more damage. It's easier to have top damage if you're going against a team with triple tank. So, I mean, damage numbers maybe a little lopsided traditionally in a team with more damage dealers going against a team with more health. You can soak up more of that damage.
Yeah, they should have more damage, not a million more kills and still lose the game.
I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, it's these small moments where it's very contested. It's very back and forth. Flashpoint might, win the initial engagement, but then the Knights are able to respawn. They had fast cap for a couple of those points as well. So, when you're in that position, when you're down, if you're the Knights, Flashpoint might have to win 2 fights to gain control of that mid, and then the Knights can just win 1, and fast cap does the rest. Shattered Desert, apparently a very strong map for Flashpoint. They're going to have to bring it here. Pittsburgh Knights just needing 1 more map to move on to the quarterfinals, send Flashpoint home. Flashpoint are going to have to win 3 straight. And they're going to take us to Ice Mines.
Yeah. Okay, it's starting to process in my mind now. A couple dismount misses. Maybe that was it. That game's a perfect example of why it's not about kills. It's about the objective.
We saw that with, Renegades earlier in the week where in a long set, they somehow lose despite having
against all business.
Yeah, they have incredible score lines. You're thinking there's no way you lose this one. Somehow they drop it. I mean, objective time is really the stat I think you have to look at in those scenarios, and the Knights just had a little bit more of it. Now you're looking at Flashpoint trying to fight back from 2 down.
They need the reverse sweep. This is desperation time, baby. This is when the cheese.
So do you go like Furia or Grover and then add a Grok in there? I mean, Ice Mines, it's got to be, right?
Yeah, Ice Mines. This is the map, baby. This is the map.
That is tough, though, because we can say, you need to pivot your draft, do this and that, but you look at what they had in the last game, and they were competitive until the very end against the Knights, so it's not like they outdrafted them, or it's not like they got outdrafted or anything like that. It's just
look, being in those rooms, it's very hard, man. In the moment, you have to draft. I mean, look, they're on the clock. We're not. We could sit here and tittle-tattle the entire time. Yep. People at home can do the same thing. They'll go online and say, why'd you draft this? And it's just like, yo,
it's easy to kind of,
put the pressure on yourself that they have.
Right. They gotta draft themselves. And again, I seriously think Flashpoint have adapted into these cross-play games very, very well. I think that their meta has changed. I think they've drafted themselves in positions to win, but haven't quite been able to do so against the Knights just yet. Knights take away the victor. Atlas Makoa seems to be kind of the new standard when Flashpoint are playing against.
Are they
going to
ban Strix? That's the question.
It's going to be the Khan. So for that is a Good Lad-centric ban there. Get him off of something that he's very comfortable with. So now Flashpoint are stuck in a situation where do we first pick something, a smaller off-tank pool for Good Lad? Do we just make sure we lock something up for him that he's comfortable on? Or Strix is something you have to look at. Willow sometimes played heavily on this map. I think that Simsaloo can play it. I know he doesn't like to play it because it feels too good at times, but They look like they're going to pivot and grab the Ash for Good Lad.
This might be for Good Lad.
Yeah, you're right. Might be. Could be Legacy as well.
Oh, but I don't know. With the rest of the tanks up, it would have to go to Good Lad. Con out of the equation, I wouldn't see a triple tank coming from Flashpoint either, because that would go to Skeppy.
Knights are going to pick Terminus this game. I'm feeling it. Zerini is the OG Ice Mines Terminus man in this meta. Just kidding. It's probably not going to happen. Definitely not now that Barrick is getting locked in. Strix maybe to follow that up. Ricotta, they're going to roll the dice one more time, Flashpoint, and Strix is going to go the way of the Knights.
I don't know. They kind of shut down triple tank for Flashpoint. They kind of shut down the Strix by taking it as well. This is tough, man. They're going to have
Grover.
Grover's a good pick on Ice Mines, but actually, never mind. I was going to say Grover hasn't been getting a lot of wins this week, but Flashpoint's one of the ones that has been getting the only wins with Grover.
Yeah, they've been pairing it, right?
Willow's a good choice as well. Normally, you would say, you know, can't play Willow against a PC team as a console team, but that would go to Skeppy. He's on keyboard, so I have some confidence in him playing the Willow. I don't know, man. Vivian is still up as well.
I think this Willow is kind of a double. I mentioned Simpsy very good on the Willow, so I think you take it away from him, pick it for yourself, because she is in such a strong spot right now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sims is not doing so hot, even in the win with Ruckus. So if they take Willow...
Yeah, but that Maeve game to start off this set, he popped off.
But this is Ice Mines. He could get the pip.
That's true. I mean, you're right. It's another one of those scenarios where I think you can only pick out so much against Simsula.
Unless they take the pip and they give Willow to Prosper, who can play it. But
you're saying they're going to go pip Willow? I guess they could.
But he'd be on the... that's a lot of blast.
That's a lot of blaster. I think... Maybe it has some merit,
but it would
I don't
force
know
you to go blast and resilience.
That's true.
Because of Evil Mojo, Seismic Crash, and Assert
That is truly the spiciest timeline, and I'm not sure I'm bought into it just yet. But yeah, it's in the cards. I think the Knights, maybe at this point, since Flashpoint have their front lines locked in, they could probably afford to. I guess at this point, they only need the. Come on! Give it to me. I said never mind, but I'm going to un-never mind that never mind. So never mind squared. Yeah. Sometimes I am just too good. And now is one of those times. I assume that Serini give Barrick over to G-Bunny. Frontline control for the Knights. Strix as well. You mentioned the Vivian. We see the Grover.
Do not rest.
One more draft here for Flashpoint. Potentially, if they're not able to take this, they're going to put their money on Vivian.
See, with Vivian up, it's kind of like Grover, Io, take one or the other, pick both of them, or take Vivian.
Blake was just complaining that we haven't seen Dredge this entire week.
If Dredge gets picked, that means Shaolin is the only champion to not be picked.
They are hovering this. They are hovering this. They're thinking about it.
Dredge into Vivian.
No! No! Oh, we're sad about it.
No Kraken!
We're sad about it. It hasn't been locked in yet. Now it has, so it is going to be the Bomb King to round out.
Be happy you got
Simpsy
Terminus at
grabs
least.
the BK. You're right. We got the Terminus, so I'm at least happy about that. All right, 5 locked in for both sides. Blue. Flashpoint need to win 3 straight. Do they have a draft that can get it done on Ice Mines?
You know how to win 3 straight games? Start off by winning 1.
That's right.
Okay, I've picked Knights the first 2 games they've won. So let me give my mojo to the console boys. Everybody at home.
Are you playing Legacy in attack position?
Legacy in attack position.
He says Legacy in attack position. They need it right now unless they don't want to go home. Because they do want to go home. Either way, casters, take it away.
Perfect work by you, Dave. Yeah, throw that card at the camera. That's what I like to see. Legacy, you're going to have to try and take this one home for the boys. But once again, Bomb King, Terminus, Maldamba, Strix, Barrick. I mean, the Zerini God, dude. On the term, I mean, it's hard for me to argue against it.
Yeah, joke's on you, Dave. My Knights deck has no pathetic cards. They should have a pretty good draft. I think Terminus BK is going to be very, very good at forcing out the inside cabin area. A lot of pressure they can't pull off there. It is a double backline kind of again on the other side. Willow, yeah, she's a blaster, but what do you do with Willow? You sit in the back, you spam. Very similar style of play for sure from her. Decimation, that's what I like to see from a Terminus for sure. I think that is the meta. I'm positive that is the meta Terminus card. Probably chained with, I'm assuming, Siphon gives you Blast back, Necromantic Might 5, Blast gives you heals. What you'd expect to see from a Terminus as someone who has more Terminus time than any other human should have. I think me and Zarini combined probably outweigh the rest of the Paladins scene. But we'll have to see how he can play it. We know he is the one in this scene who can. No dismount supports on either side, so both teams are allowed to get aggressive very early. So they can get away with it. Great wall actually at the start. Might get Zarini out immediately.
Yeah, actually really, really good. The Siphon goes up, but he's still alive. He's going to be able to live back out just a little bit longer, and he will. Oof. A breath of fresh air for Zarini. He is still in this fight and still kicking despite a very, very amazing wall from Legacy right there. The blast actually comes out once again, gives him a little bit of that charge back as well. Eats all of the seedlings. I see you giving the approving nod, Krezzy. That's what I like to see. And already Zarini with plenty of charges in the bank. 45% for him though, and PK have still yet to touch really.
They lost the other side of the map. They're going to need to find a kill pretty quickly here. Looks like they're shoving in on the side. Dash out from Good Lad, but control regains slightly for the Pittsburgh Knights. No ultimates are even close. That is not a thought in anybody's head here. They need to find something early. Terminus able to shadow fall over the wall onto the point. Full siphons. It's a lot of time you can buy, but it's so hard to live in the face of a Willow.
It is indeed, and with the Nara being kept up so healthy, it is extremely hard for the PK team to be able to try and keep themselves afloat during this very, very first mid-fight on Ice Mines. Good kills for them, and 99% already into a point conversion for Flashpoint.
We'll have to see how forward Flashpoint can take this. Knights, I think their composition will be okay scaling into the late game. No shield on Terminus, while still having some sustain will be pretty good. It's knocked in. Using a decent amount of Siphon here, following up with some good damage and Good Lad, but Stay Fly coming out. No one to counter it on the Knights unless he goes into Ricotta's sightline.
Yeah, already he's going to have to back up though. Eating a lot of damage, throws out the Calamity Burst, able to hit once again. Healing might be a little bit too much for him. G-Bunny's all the way on the side with the Bear. The Whirlwind comes out just to make sure they can actually continue to capitalize on that. But PK are responding in time by pushing up through main, trying to keep the damage up on Legacy. But it's a little bit too much. It's almost impossible. The Dresser goes out. They get rid of Storm Avatar. Good Lad is still there, but the block from Zarini might be enough to kill him, and it is. He's going to be able to put out that Siphon, continue to eat those charges, and Skeppy might actually be next on the menu. Even if he isn't, this is a good start for PK.
Great turnaround from the Knights, and aspiring Terminus mains everywhere. All four of you. Watch the way that Zarini manages his Siphon. There's a lot of different things you can do where you... There was something he did in the very first mid where he dropped it with a little bit left. Sometimes if you hold it for a long time and then drop it, everyone's just like, oh, he has no more. Because he saved one more activation on it, he was able to get full charges and get away. That's what kept him alive. In that first fight, his management is fantastic so far. Bunny on a very deep flank. His team needs to move quickly or he's going to melt down, and he does. They can't even move fast enough.
A minute, 10 seconds still remaining as well for Flashpoint to be able to make it back with G-Bunny going down first. That's going to be a pretty big problem. The lad charges directly in. He's got the Assert Dominance, but he's more than likely not going to end up using it. They already dropped the seedlings. He's there. Sereni's still backing up with that Siphon up, giving it a chance to charge right back up. And Ricotta, though, eating a lot of damage. He is going to go down. Nice stun, though. They are going to be able to take advantage of Good Lad being out of position, also extremely low health. Skeppy goes down to a good couple Calamity Bursts, and they're going to be able to keep applying that pressure. Zarini still is going to go down, but Simpson with a good couple bombs, as well as G-Bunny with the presence of mind to be able to continue pushing with the rest of his team, are going to be able to get that kill.
Simpson actually forces out the Earthen Guard just with a Poppy Bomb, so Legacy now is going to get staggered pretty hard. No way Legacy can kill himself unless he goes very far, and they definitely could have staggered that a little bit longer, but they just wanted to get forward in zone. That was the higher priority for them here for sure. Simpson now on this corner. AoE means you can't hide. Finds the sensor drone, takes it down, so now he can hide in response. Zarini's back, 10 seconds left. They're going to need to put out a lot of damage if they want to stop Flashpoint from even having a chance to touch.
Already 5 seconds remaining. Good Lad shoulder bashes his way all around the side. They got the Assert Dominance. We saw it before. He's already setting up, and they're able to push, or well, I should say not push, excuse me, defend successfully PKR.
Also, cool little thing about Terminus as well, your charges don't go away between rounds. So Zarini got 4 charges, said they're not going to touch, didn't shoot it, just held on to them, and now as soon as this round starts, he's going to have 1750 in the pocket damage to fire at somebody. Knights, a lot of ultimates up. Only Flashbang missing, and I would say that's definitely the least impactful of all the ults that they have. Simply having a great game so far. Undying, even after a really tough mid-fight. That means he's choosing his fights really well, especially considering he has 11,000 more damage than Prosper Logic.
I mean, that's a big, big story, as well as big damage coming out from Simsy right there, dude. I mean, 1-1, it's already tied 2-0 to the Pittsburgh Knights, man. I mean, they could end up closing this one out in style. That much is for sure. But it is still close. Shout outs to Flashpoint. Even if they don't end up winning this game, man, I mean, they still have been looking phenomenal. They have been playing extremely well. Do not discount them just for being a consoles.
Yeah, of course. The input method, I said this yesterday, the input method doesn't matter. It's really about how well you know the game, and I think these games have been proving it for sure. Serena getting a little bit of point time, but they don't want to commit till they have a kill.
Oh, Dope Shield.
Dope Shield used defensively. Assert dominance in the face of it, actually, but not too much coming down. Serena doesn't get the reset on his Shatterfall, so he has to res on point. Everyone gets forced out. I think Whirlwind was used as well, and Knights end up on the better end of these ultimates.
They do. They still got a King Bomb available and ready as well for Flashpoint. There's a bit of a pause right there, but once again, they have the Bomb King already available, or I should say really the King Bomb in terms of the ultimate uses right there. And I agree with that. They did come out on top of that. There were a lot of ultimates that just ended up being utilized, but at the same time, they still have the opportunity to be able to use that King Bomb and be able to pretty much clean up whatever they don't need. So they only have one ultimate still remaining for them.
I think they could actually combo the Flashbang and the King Bomb.
I
Flashbang,
agree.
I believe, is really close, so blind them so they can't shoot Simsy, let Simsy commit a little bit harder. Both teams basically have everybody up, but Flashpoint now don't have a response to what the Knights can be coming in with. Honestly, it depends a lot on how much Siphon Zerini has left, too, because that really is a timer, how long he can sustain for. Bunny managed to stop the Ashe on the backside, so that's kind of a stalemate. That's why we have to keep our eyes to mid and how aggressive they can get on the back of them having no Whirlwind to keep their team alive.
Right, exactly. I mean, once again, Pittsburgh Knights already up 2-0. They're looking good. We're going to be back right into this super exciting action. We've got a Flashbang. We've got a King Bomb still available. Just as we were saying before, no ultimates up on Flashpoint. They're going to have the systems build up really, really soon. But 33% for him already. The King Bomb already starting, and you already have the explosion that happens. That's going to leave Prosper Logic in the dirt. After 3 charges, he uses them. Zarini's going to back off of the point, though. And now this gives us so much ground. Look at where Simsalou is now. And they got that kill on the Prosper. Zarini come ons and slams. In this case, it already into the back line. And Pittsburgh Knights are going to be able to have 48% for him.
They did the exact combo that we said they had to do. They flashbang Prosper Logic, came in with the King Bomb. Legacy wasn't flashbang, so he got the wall off, but didn't get the block. Now dismounted is Good Lad there in the back. Fayfly potentially coming in, but Skippy thinks, well, he doesn't have Fayfly. Looked like it should have been a Fayfly, but didn't have it. Gets spammed out in the air, and there's no chance that Flashpoint have to touch the objective. Buddy and Ricardo holding this backside. Legacy trying to shove in main, but I don't know what good this angle take is going to give them. Vivian's all the way back on the side of Good Lad.
Yeah, neither do I, but once again, payload is steadily rolling. Nothing too definitive yet, except for the fact that they do have the aggression that they are trying to put on the zone. Ricardo eating a lot of damage, though. The Siphon goes up for Zarini so that he can actually peel. He is already looking really, really low. Legacy, in this case, is looking extremely low. He's got 4 charges all the way back up, is able to burst them, puts the Siphon once again right back up, already in the dead zone. Going to step out of it and keep that Siphon up to make sure that the team behind him will not get hit.
Zarini just weaved all of his 5 shots under the shield of the Vivian. That's actually kind of crazy. I just wanted to point that out because I don't know. It was kind of hard to see right now. Aggressive from Zarini now in main. Whirlwind gets forced out. He can disengage a little bit. There's no way they can find a kill now, but he can stay alive. Siphon blocks an infinite amount of damage. Healing keeps him going, and Dread Serpent to maybe follow up and find something, but there's just too many people there to kill.
Yeah, Dead Zone gets dropped. They already used the Whirlwind as well. Ricotta is going to be on the receiving end of that death. That aggression it is that they needed to have is now going to be flipped to Pittsburgh Knights having to be forced to defend. 1 minute and 15 seconds left. You have Zarini getting the kill on the Good Lad, but that was it. That's all that was they were able to get, and they are being zoned right now.
Cuss is trying to save his KD, but he really should have jumped right there. He wasn't shot by anybody. He wouldn't have given a kill. Legacy's going to come in here and wall himself off with Skippy coming in too, but he didn't wall. Okay, I was going to say that I would have just walled immediately and trapped Cuss in, but saved it. Gave Cuss a chance to react, you know. It's fair game. Maybe it's like a sport kind of thing, you know. Some people, you don't want to shoot a sleeping animal and run around a little bit. Legacy. Very forward right now, walking straight into Ricotta. The tanks are both on the other lane, so no one can protect them, but he manages to get away with the stealth.
Already the boost to back out. 40 seconds still remaining. You've got King Bomb, you've got Dope Shield, and you got yourself a kill with Zarini using those charges to make the most of the situation. Puts the wall down, make sure they are blocked off for as long as he possibly can. Just make sure they stall him for even just more and more seconds. But still, 20 seconds left. Pittsburgh Knights have made it back, and they're already moving their way in, forcing them back. And it's a matter of what they are going to do. Well, one thing that's going to happen for sure is that Good Lad's dead.
For sure, great aggression on the side. Term and BK, I said they were going to be the pair to watch, and you can see why. They ran them down, killed both tanks. No way currently Flashpoint to really move forward and contest this payload at all, but Cuss goes down to a flank from Vivian. The Vivian just came in from under. Nobody was paying attention. They were all too stacked on the right side.
They were able to pretty much burst him as quickly as they were on the point. A good flank from Prosper Logic is going to leave him dead, but still, because of that flank, they were able to defend and make sure they got the most out of those very, very last seconds with that overtime timer. But we're looking at a 2-2, folks. I mean, if this game is going to keep going back and forth like this, it is so hard to say who's going to come out on top.
For sure, and I think Flashpoint basically had the only answer they could have there at the end. It had to be a hero play from the DPSs. Both of their tanks got killed sprinting away from that fight. It was great aggression from the Knights, but maybe just too much in one lane. They had the Barrack, they had the Terminus, all focusing on the same spot. Simslu still having an incredible game, I think, so far. Damage-wise, right above the Vivian. Barrack and Strix are right behind them, too. It's really close in general on top of the damage charts. I think it's going to come down to how these ultimates get used. And Flashpoint used Sentinels at the end, but I guess didn't realize that they were getting dove, so Prosper kind of just threw those away. Vivian charges are all pretty quickly, so they will have them back up in time. But I think it's a lot of pressure on this assert dominance and a lot of pressure on this reanimate.
3%, and now the dome shield gets dropped immediately, the body block as well. Oh my goodness, whoa! That Poppy Bomb to actually get him up on that bridge, to actually use that King Bomb, and it definitely paid off in dividends with G-Bunny with a double kill. Ricardo with one of them. Skeppy is able to pick off Simsaloo, but still, they are able to get the zone. I was not expecting that. That would have hit me.
That's not
no
easy. That's not easy to do. He perfectly got that Poppy Bomb, and Skeppy can't move. Strix, so much damage. Cannot move around this corner whatsoever. They don't get the dismount on Good Lad. Bunny finally does, but Good Lad has assert dominance. He wants to use it on the point, and Bunny, thankfully for them, gives it up, but now he uses the dash to go over here. He's not going to be near the objective to contest it.
90% already, and the Dread Serpent goes out to make sure that they actually can try and fear. Once again, Simsaloo all the way is back up here, despite not having a King Bomb this time, but he wants to be able to be aggressive. He throws out the bombs as much as he can, detonates them, but still, it's going to go down. G-Bunny falls through, so does Zarini, and here comes the Reds. He's going to be right back on point. The overtime is still there, but it's not worth it. I agree with that, Kresley, because he's still going to go down and be forced back out away from the point.
Oh my god, he almost survived for a really long time. As soon as he used that res, it was at the same time 3 of his teammates died, but that is such a rough res. There's no chance that the Knights can get back in and retouch this objective. Assert dominance used aggressively. Simsaloo walled off. Cuskooty caught out. Good Lad very low. If they have a Poppy, they could do it, but Simsaloo Poppy in instead of using it to peel.
Yeah, Ricardo takes care of Legacy, though, so 99% to 99%, but a point capture converted already for Flashpoint. The flare at the feet. He's taking a lot of damage right now, but still being able to be healed up by that Grover a little bit too much for them to be able to try and fight back with. Zarini, Simsaloo, 2 of them fighting 1 kill apiece, and you've got 2 minutes and 10 seconds left and remaining with a 3-2 score in favor of Flashpoint.
They need to charge up their ultimates for this. They can actually spend some right now if they really want to keep the snowball up. Bunny pretty aggressive there in the back onto Prosper. He's just trying to hold down main, though. Legacy uses Earthing Guard very early. This could actually be a free pick from them if he doesn't have the wall up. Gets very, very low. Barely makes it out in time, and actually Zarini trades his life for it.
Yeah, 1 minute and 50 seconds left, man. I mean, Zarini, simply both of them are still down. Cuss all the way in the back. Skeppy's pretty much free firing. Ricardo takes care of Storm Avatar. Draws us a little way, and he does. Cuss is fighting for his life, but he's still going to be able to go down. Ricardo all the way behind him. He's just going to try and stealth in, try and take care of that. He's still going to be able to do so. A nice player is going to leave Skeppy still dead, but 1 minute and 30. Zarini made it back to point. They were able to stall long enough to only allow the payload to move forward just a tiny bit, but they still have plenty of time to push forward.
So we're just going to hold this down with Simsaloo. The EU brothers on the Pittsburgh Knights. Definitely the pair that's going to have to lock down Flashpoint in this game. We're actually getting kind of surrounded here. Sims is going to have to give up a lot of ground, barely surviving. I'm assuming because of the heals from Cuss. A burst heal does come in, but Fayflight now might catch out G-Bunny.
Fayflight is there and available. Just tossing out all of those left clicks, or at least the right triggers, I should say, as much as possible. Still firing, looking at Ricardo. Ricardo actually jumps down Zarini, G-Bunny, Simsaloo, Ricardo. All 4 of them are already done. They've got 3 ultimates up, but only 1 person's left. It's Cuss. They will be able to make it back. They'll defend, especially with 40 seconds still available.
But look at all the ultimates. They used Fayflight and Whirlwind to try to convert that, so we'll have to see what the Knights are willing to spend here. Aggressive push. Dome Shield used up top. The Bear goes down immediately. That's a wasted ult. They're going to have to spend something else like a King Bomb.
Okay, well, the Dread Serpent is actually going to end up being used. They're focusing down right now on the Legacy. The wall goes up. Zarini is still there. He's getting forced back just little by little. And Simsaloo all the way in the back. He's going to use the King Bomb once again, but he's actually just going to end up dying as that was happening. You've got about 15 seconds left, but you still have the res available. Zarini is going to have to use it. That is no question. He's going to be able to take down Legacy despite the Dread the dead zone being dropped directly onto point, and because of that, Rakana is able to take care of Stored Avatar. He stepped off the point though! He stepped off the point, and because of that, oh my goodness, they actually just lost because of that.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. He just wanted to stay alive, had to stay out of the Willow spam as long as he could. Tried to take another angle. I think maybe there was just a small disconnect between leaving the point and Bunny coming back. So unfortunate for the Knights, and you know they could be a kind of emotional team. They can't let this get to them if they want to keep the set in their hands.
They cannot. 2-1 already. G-Putty laughing a little bit. I mean, they know the situation was Zarini definitely beating himself up over that. He's really, really upset. Once again, they cannot let that get to them. A very, very small misstep ended up with Flashpoint taking that game despite having used the Resurrection, gotten 1 kill. They did extremely well. Once again, PK, they have to be able to harness this and make sure they keep forward.
Yeah, and if Flashpoint want to turn the set, this is the momentum they need to carry on for sure. I don't know if they're gonna let Vivian through again. It seemed like there was a lot of duels that were being won on the back of the deflector shield on the Vivian that maybe giving Good Lad Con wouldn't have been as much of a big deal for them to have to deal with. So maybe a change up in the bans from the Knights, considering a change up in the bans led to them giving up the first map.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to this. I mean, once again, will the momentum for Flashpoint actually be able to do something, or will the Pittsburgh Knights just, I guess, sort of crumble? I mean, it's 2-1. There's still plenty of time to find out. We can only know that for sure right after this break.
Longing to be seen, so come and hide with me, hide with me, hide with me. Come and hide with me, hide with me, hide with me. Stars are bright, I called you up just to hear your voice on the machine. Nothing will be like it was, but you will always be my first choice, just as it seems. Ride with me. Ride with me. So come on.
Well, Flashpoint, they take us to Ice Mines, and they take Pittsburgh Knights to 6 points, and they grab themselves their first win in this set. Don't count Flashpoint out just yet. A little momentum now at their back, but it's back to the Pittsburgh Knights map pick. We'll have to wait a minute to see where they take us for Game 4. Blue, you finally bet for the boys, and they grab themselves a win.
Let's go, baby. One good lad on that team.
Is that the difference maker for you here?
Good lad. He created so much space, especially in that last fight. I was saying it as we were watching it on the Ash. He had the assert dominance. He dives into the backline after they win the team fight. Ice Mines, huge map to zone on because that's so hard to break a zone on Ice Mines. He pops the assert dominance right in their face. He's able to kill, I think, 2 people.
Yeah,
he ended up dying. Skeppy is able to finish off Maldamba, which is cuss. That was beautifully played in the last round. They got a payload push the round before that. That was through and through. That was a good game from Flashpoint. I mean, good lad.
Yeah. I think it's too much almost to kind of counter out, and it's what you kind of mentioned. If they win up against Kanga, maybe this is where they start to abuse some differences. Good lad is playing some of his best Paladins right now, and you kind of see that down in the trenches, longevity on the Ash, using those cooldowns properly. You know, the kit itself is relatively simple, but making sure you use your cooldowns properly, when to use the Kinetic Burst, Shoulder Bash, Shield, all of that, you know, requires some skill to know properly how to use all of that. And Good Lad playing at the top of his game right now. And that's where a big difference is. The length that he's able to extend a lot of these fights.
Yeah,
I think it's so important for Flashpoint.
Only 9. He went 9 kills, 8 deaths. That doesn't sound amazing. Only 60k damage doesn't sound amazing.
Right.
You know, a little of this, a little of that. His job is to create space.
Those intangibles.
That's all he needs to do. Create space. If he does that successfully, the rest of the team will strive. Going, like you said, going up against Kanga, which is what I thought would happen. The tanks would have to outplay Kanga's tanks. This match, that still has to happen,
Yeah, agreed.
but Skeppy has to outplay both Sims and Ricotta.
That's a tall task.
As well as
That's a tall
Prosper. He's
task.
there with them. He got something he's very comfortable with in the Vivian. Now, here's the question. Do you ban Vivian now? Again, because the Khan was giving you problems. Now the Vivian was giving you problems alongside the Ashe. You thought you could, ban him out. Thought you could take him away from Triple Tank. Thought you could take him away from the Khan. You give the Ashe to them again. Didn't work out the first time because it was Legacy. This time you give it to
Whoa.
Goodlad. He creates so much space. Do you let them
That's true.
get the Khan again?
You're now's the point where it's pivoted to the PC side, where they have to consider what they're letting Flashpoint have, because Flashpoint have basically said at this point, we're prepared to play against kind of whatever. We just don't want to deal with Makoa or Atlas. So they ban out those two. And you mentioned it. They ban out the Vivian first. I imagine a Victor soon to follow here. So Vivian, Victor back in the ban column. Flashpoint going to finish off with a Makoa. But I think that's a big win for Flashpoint. You come so close in Game 2. You lose in 7 points. And now in Game 3, win it in less than 7. You do it. You get it done in 6. I think that's got to be a big bolster to the confidence of Flashpoint. Knights now have to buckle down, get back to the performance that they had in the first couple of maps to kind of keep Flashpoint at bay, because Flashpoint wins another one here. You're going down to a decider Game 5 to stay alive in these World Championships. And that's a scary space. A fluke win, all of the stats can be in your favor, but a fluke win in a Game 5 doesn't matter at the end of the day. Flashpoint have to win one more, though, to get to that point. Going to Warder's Gate for the first time this week. Haven't seen it at all, and this is where the Knights want to take us.
Yeah, and this is a map that Flashpoint's been practicing. Like I said in the back, I think they've been practicing all the maps that everybody hates.
Yeah.
And they've played well on Shattered Desert. They've lost the 2 times they've played it against, PK here and SSG the other day, but they played very well on both of those maps. So that could be their secret. Now, Strix being first picked, that's really good for the Knights, but Flashpoint is not going to say, oh, no, right? That happened yesterday. There was still success. They almost won the game where Strix was taken away from them. They won last game where Strix was taken away from them. I mean, Barrack Khan, pretty good.
I like them having Khan again. I mean, I think getting Legacy on something as strong as the Barrack, a great start. And then Goodlad, as much as we've talked about him after that Ice Mines game, his Khan performance, is kind of even above that. The stat lines were more tangible even in his Khan games up to this point. So I think it's a good start for Flashpoint to get themselves comfortable there. Anara for the Knights, maybe a Furia for them here as well. So now the damage dealers are kind of the question that arise here. I know Leon has been pretty popular for them. Grover, a good healer for Flashpoint. Again, you have to, I think, bring up the potential for a Grok to be paired with this triple tank. If that's where they go, the Knights could be privy to that, though, and this does kind of yell a Grover 5th pick to me.
Yeah, Grover Grok or Grover Genos would work here. And I was just thinking, they took away the Furia, which is something Flashpoint's been playing a lot this week and having success. Storm Avatar's been playing it well. A couple key mistakes cost them a game or two, but that can be cleaned up on the spot. Here's the thing. Triple tank on Warder's Gate against a Strix, it's not open sight lines.
Yeah.
There's those rooms on the side of the bounce pad portals. And then you have those walls right there on the point. Grover can go underneath the objective and also heal as well. The Grok comes out into a Ruckus, into an Anara.
Is that dangerous to play into a Willow, though, do you think, with that dead zone?
He's there for damage, man. He ain't there for healing.
No, I know, but
That
you got
could hurt
a
the
Grover,
Grover.
you got a
That could
Grover
hurt
on your
the
side
Grover,
as well.
yes.
Who deals with that Willow, Con? I mean, that's the most consistent hit scan you're going to have to try to shoot Simpsy out of the sky.
This is like...
I love the draft. Don't
This
get me
is an
wrong. I'm trying to
offense-
play
listen,
devil's advocate.
This is an offensive line. They're running a power zero right at you.
Blue, are you biased? We can't have bias up here on this desk. Just kidding. I love the Flashpoint draft. I think this worked for them.
It worked for him yesterday.
All day
That's
yesterday.
why I like it.
I think it works well again here. But you also kind of want Flashpoint to win. So do I. It could be a lot of fun. Game 4. Let's go.
Let's do it. We've got a double reset ultimate team composition again with the Grover, with the Grok. You have that presence on Flashpoint's side, but the Knights, man. I mean, you got the Willow. I'm really just trying to figure out. I mean, Chris, what do you think about the Willow into that composition?
Nobody deals with Faith Flame.
Right.
Grok ain't doing anything to her. And maybe Storm Avatar connects some sweet axes, but nobody else is doing much of anything against a Faith Flighting Willow. The biggest problem to me is that when teams cross that distance, right, you want to be doing it to enable your backlines to maybe get some angles, right? You're forcing them into places they don't want to be. Who are you enabling?
Right.
Like, yeah, they have to go into the open. Now our Grok can see them. Yeah. That's it. That's apparently, that's all they're really kind of gunning for. Otherwise, what are they doing? Deathballing. Who will destroy a deathball? It's going to be Willow. That's really going to be the response. So, tough to say. Honestly, tough to say. I think Flashpoint's draft is a little mismatched. It will win if a hard deathball is enough to beat what the Knights have. But I think the Willow and the Ruckus are just too much of an answer.
Yeah, I think that's going to definitely be a very, very big problem. Now, of course, credits to Grok. Credits to Grover for having, once again, that double reset ultimate, for being able to do what they need to. And, of course, with that morale boost, which I believe is something they have, it's going to be really, really hard for, them to be able to... It's going to be hard for PK in some instances, which they do. They do have the morale boost in the Grok, as is standard for this case. But Shock Pulse already rings true, and they're already putting on a lot of pressure with PK having some of the first percentages on the point already.
And look, I was right. They are just going to Deathball. This is what they're going to do. And I think this Willow is going to tear them apart. Look to see Zarini backs up, takes a lot of damage kind of early from the Grok, but it's not burst damage. It's all consistent, so Zarini knows when he can get away. Essentially, when I kind of weird angle right now there on the side. Ricotta, Skeppy just walks in. Ricotta unprotected there on the right side. Bunny gave up that ground, didn't call it. Ricotta goes down.
Yeah, 24% to 33 already for the Flashpoint, and it is steadily climbing. Once again, they have that Deathball composition already ready to go, but it's a matter of how long can they hold on. As the game goes on longer, it's going to be a lot harder for them to do something. Skeppy is already looking really low, but he has his team to actually be able to try and capitalize on that. Zarini deals with him, but no one is to the point yet. He uses the wall, great wall, as well as a good stun. Storm Avatar goes down as well. Everyone's living with so little HP, and now Ricotta's on point. He uses the flare to try and take out that Barret, but we already have the Tempest that is up and online and available for Flashpoint.
Tempest stays with the last moment. Legacy going to do a lot of damage here, burns them down, and Deathball ended up working out because Ricotta just sat in the open. That first pick enabled it. Deathball will just win when you have a number advantage, so they have to play. Knights have to play so careful about their lives. They turned around as much as they could, but a lot of people still alive, so much healing. The problem is, in the late game, it's going to struggle. Two characters that are so reliant on Wrecker, two characters that are so reliant on Cauterize. It's going to fall off as time goes on. Simpslu backs up here. Going to get botted at for sure by Skeppy, but Skeppy does disengage because of the dead zone. I don't know if I like this Bunny flank. I really don't know if I like this Ruckus flank right now. Zarini's in front, but no one's there to follow up on his ultimate.
Okay, well, Prosper gets dealt with by Zarini. He is there. He has the Hexafire as well. He's not going to end up using it, but he is going to dash in, just pretty much make sure that, hey, I'm already back here. He's forcing out a lot of space and creating a lot for his team. The ceilings go out. The Vine Grip goes out as well for Storm Avatar so that he can actually escape. They have a minute and 40 seconds left. The Hexafire now ends up getting used right around that corner, but it's actually just going to get eaten up by mostly that shield. He's going to get healed right back up. He might actually go down, but he actually is able to back out. Barret is still chasing him, though. He's going to be able to get healed by Custom.
Barret extends pretty far for this. They need to contest the payload, and Simpslu realizes that, so he disengages. They can't push into the dead zone. All they have is healing and stuff. Look at this massive stack!
Oh, man!
This is just Willow bait, Simpslu! You could have gotten a million damage there, but he backs off and lets G-Bunny die!
He's actually going to let both him and Zarini die. They're actually just pretty much just up on this high ground all the way in the back. Ricotta's able to take care of Storm Avatar, but look at where Simpslu is, and he's going to go down too!
Dude, I'm salivating. I'm salivating thinking about the amount of damage I would have just done there on Willow. Simpslu played it just a little bit too safe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I can say about that, man. I mean, that is literally just unable to really, I guess, capitalize on that situation. But once again, you've got about 45 seconds left. And once again, this Deathball composition working out really, really well. It's a matter of how long will the game go on. That's going to be the question here. Skeppy is actually going to go down thanks to Ricotta. Once again, they're all moving up. Zarini is still right there. Of course, Ricotta with the sniper as well, being able to get good damage on the Storm Avatar, but nothing yet.
I mean, Skeppy goes down because they broke the death ball, right?
Right.
Skeppy goes alone and immediately dies to all the damage that the Knights have, which is what's worrying me more for the late game potential of this composition. Ultimate just barely connected the edge. They should kill Ricotta here, but Flashbang comes in. Stealth isn't going to save it when you're being slowed to 2 2 units per second,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Seismic Crash coming in here. Sereni charges so
nice.
fast, and what a great ultimate.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge for Simsalou. Look at where he's standing. He's literally up above the rest of them and firing straight down at the people on the ground. It's so hard for them to be able to live through this. He's literally just running at them. He's gotten several kills off of that alone.
Dude, I told you, you can't group up against a Willow. Again, they all hug each other, hoping that the storm will pass. And unfortunately for them, Simsalou, Hurricane Simsalou, is not done rampaging. 1-1. And again, I'm worried so much about the late game of this Flashpoint composition.
Right.
They're gonna struggle so much against High Record. They're gonna struggle when Simsalou understands how aggressive he's gonna be able to get. And this is that Tempest from this is a little bit earlier than that. Just a ton of damage coming out from Prosper to wipe everybody on the Knights after a fantastic Tempest earlier to keep his team alive.
Right, exactly. I mean, once again, man, Flashpoint are looking great despite all of the stuff that is happening with PK right now. I mean, they've got a minute. They have plenty of time to be able to really try and figure out what they need to do. I mean, once again, once this game goes on longer, that scaling is going to hit hard. It's going to hit Prosper on the Grok, and it's going to hit Storm Avatar for sure.
For sure, and the record's going to hurt Legacy and everyone else
100%,
too.
yep.
Looks like an different
here's the
contest
Faith
angle
Light.
this time. Shockpulse doesn't do much of anything, but this Faith Light should open up a lot of space for the Knights.
It should show them no mercy. We already see that G-Bunny. The rest of them are over here. This is why you can't group up against a Willow. Ricotta with a double. Simsalou with another 39% for Flashpoint. And this is the problem that you run into. You have Willow tearing it up with a triple kill and flanking around, providing so much damage spread out amongst so many different targets.
I know we're comparing esports to real sports, but you really don't need to have a team huddle in those kind of situations. It's definitely punishing you in the end of the game. Simsalou locking this down. Great pressure from Bunny on the left side, and Skeppy's going to get forced out by Sereni.
That's going to be extremely hard. G-Bunny all the way up at the top. He actually I think he just 1v2'd right there with a double kill already. Just on the Ruckus alone, able to take care of Prosper, able to take care of Good Lad. Now the Knights are waking up. Another double kill, 96% for the Pittsburgh Knights. G-Bunny as well against Skeppy. I mean, he was able to just 1v2 in that situation, take advantage of it, and they capture the point because of it.
You know why Bunny can win that fight? There's no burst damage on the other team.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing. There's nothing they can do to burst down a Ruckus. Ruckus will always win that trade because of the combination of the consistent damage from the miniguns and the burst damage from the rockets. Then we have a little wall in on the side there. On top of Legacy, can they find him? Maybe, but the Tempest is going to save him on the flank.
No, the dead zone is already there. You also hear the Seismic Crash go out along with the flashbang. They are going to get rid of Sereni, but look at where Simsalou is. He's grouping them up. He's making sure he's actually just firing straight down, and the Ricotta drops down in front, though, and it's actually going to force Simsy to drop all the way back. He has that flutter. He's going to be able to use it, but bounce his head right up on the top, so he drops right back down. Cannot escape that situation, but they've still got a minute 45 left.
Even with that flutter connecting on the ceiling, it actually would have been enough to save him in a lot of situations. Just having that extra damage reduction, which most people are running on flutter. I'm assuming he's running that at level 4 or 5 on the Willow, probably just to keep himself alive. It's pretty common. Yeah, level 5, 25% DR for 3 seconds. It's kind of monstrous, actually. They're all backing up on this side, and he's going to be kind of alone there, too. If Simsalou can hold right here, he can actually stop a lot of aggression potential from Flashpoint.
He is. He's just going to sit right here, pretty much free fire. The overpower actually goes out, throws G-Buddy right down into the well, and he is going to go down. Ricotta actually gets flipped as well while he was up there with G-Buddy. Already a double kill for Skeppy. Sereni is right there, pretty much holding his own extremely well. The shock pulses spread between him and Cuss are going to be a lot. They're going to have to back up with a minute still available up on the clock. The Inflame is available, as long with the Faith Flight. The flashbang is loading up, so is the Hexafire. The ultimates are going to be there really, really soon. It's just a matter of when they want to use it.
I feel like they kind of should have just done Faith Flight Inflame or something. Just walk all over them with that. Flashbang comes in, very aggressive from Simsy. They know he's the one person they have to stare at. Whirlwind's keeping them alive for now. Simsy goes down to half, and Tempest is going to chase him down.
Tempest is actually going to be able to be brought out and try and stop Simsalou, but he is still not dead, able to be healed right back up by Cuss. But Skeppy is already on the side. Sereni actually just ends up going down. And once again, this is an extremely close match, despite all of the G-Bunny just going in. Once again, no burst damage. What are you going to be able to do against this Ruckus? He's diving in, already low health, and he is going to be able to make it. G-Bunny, Simsalou, the two of them are going to go down together with 10 seconds left, but Cuss is going to be able to get a kill of his own.
With Simsalou going down, that really hurts the Knights' potential to push this. They're saving the Inflame Faith Flight combo for mid. Again, something that could have probably been spent a little bit earlier. Sereni is going to get melted on this point, most likely in front of this Grok, but he actually walls off all the
Nice,
damage.
good
Everybody's
wall.
super stacked up, but Rakata's in a terrible place once that wall goes down.
Oh, here we go. G-Bunny's actually moving in. Simsalute literally at his back as they're trying to fire as much as they can into that very, very small choke point. Skeppy's in the back line. Simsalute actually looking a little bit low, but he turns around, knows that Skeppy is there, and takes care of business. Now we have Simsalute that's going to flutter up to the high ground, and they're in a bad spot. This is where Simsalute was last time. This time towards their spawn, where he was in such a good spot. Throws out the ceiling. Storm Avatar's going to go down. Rakata being so aggressive, and he's actually going to keep using that blast flower, keep using that damage to find something. He has to flutter his way out, but he just collapses right on top of Legacy. Skeppy tries to follow through, but the Battle Shout's not going to be able to heal him because he's in the middle of dead zone. Overtime is available and ready with 2 minutes. Well, not 2 minutes, but 2-1 already. They're going to be able to defend.
And actually, this is great because they ended it while the Tempest was going off.
Right.
Yes, mini C9 from Zarini again. He kited off the point at just the last moment, but it's so hard to tell. Warrior's Gate has a lot of weird geometry around the payload where you can easily break your line of sight. In fast OT, you're not too broken up about that for sure. They have plenty of ultimates to make this work, and this was that push that really just absolutely destroyed Flashpoint. That very quick aggression from Simsalute, and I think they have the ultimates to do a play like this again.
Yeah, I think they do as well. You got to be careful with compositions like these, man. I mean, I know we've been harping on it for just a little bit, but once again, it's just the fact that this is the problem with that death ball composition. You got those double reset ultimates, sure, but a good dead zone, even better cauterized when it starts coming online, is going to pose a very, very big problem for it. And you saw the problem right there with that composition. Simsalute already knows. He's already up here. He's going to flutter, going to use the Fade Fly as well. He's going to find his opportunity. And you see G-Bunny actually all the way in the back as well. They use the Inflame at his back, uses the Overpower, but not going to get caught. And they're all grouped up right there in that small room. He's going to keep firing as much as he possibly can, but he has to get out. It's going to get healed right back up thanks to the Whirlwind, but 21% for Pittsburgh Knights, and a Seismic Crash still available.
They need to use the Seismic Crash soon. Actually, great flank from Rakata and Bunny. I think they find 2 kills, both supports
They
down,
do.
and Legacy falls as well. Great kills for the Knights.
Yeah, very, very good kills for the Knights already. Simsalute with a double of his own, and now they're going to be able to get this zone and potentially a payload. It's going to mean a lot coming into this very, very last few matches. 63% to Flashpoint's only 6%. They are holding extremely well. He's got the Hexafire. He uses it right in front of a rock. Luckily, that rock is not the target, so it's going to be able to eat the damage for Flashpoint. I didn't know it was a 6v5, but at this point, it's going to still look good for the Pittsburgh Knights with the point capture.
Flashpoint Rock doing a great job at body blocking the Hexafire.
Sponsor that man. Where's his jersey at?
G-Bunny. Rakata really aggressive up top by the arches. Some damage in, but Prosper might get caught out here. Ghost Walk cleanses Cauterize, keeps him
Nice
alive,
wall.
but Zarini walls him in and starts the snowball for Knights.
Yeah, Ceiling actually gets thrown out. Skeppy's all the way in the back. He's actually on top of Cuss. But that's the thing. Simsalute is still available and still looking really, really healthy despite all of these fights. And he is just free firing. No one has really been able to stop him. He knows Storm Avatar's right there, puts it down. Vine Grip goes out. But once again, now they're just going to be able to focus attention right onto Good Lad. Throw it out. He's going to use the Assert Dominance just to make sure that he actually can stay alive. Why, I'm not too sure. But they do actually get rid of Prosper as well as the Tempest to follow up. They get the double kill. And that's going to be really, really good for Flashpoint.
I think they just need to peel back for Skeppy. Yep. I was at a loss for words for a second because I'm like, how are they just going to keep letting Skeppy walk in behind them? How many times in a row has Cuss or Rakata died to Skeppy just flanking? All they'd have to do is wait, spam them a little bit. Cuss goes, Skeppy's on me. And then they just turn around and deal with him. Right. He's extending really far to get that kill. Always trading his life, but they're reacting so late. The rest of Flashpoint can always pounce in the front.
They can, and Zarini's going to take his time once again, probably put up this wall, but Prosper looking extremely low. They're able to push this in with no problem, or seem to be the case. They put out the shield right there, Legacy trying to keep himself alive, but we already hear the Inflame that actually goes wide, the wall goes up, the Whirlwind comes out as well, just to keep themselves alive, but there's not really a lot of pressure going on. Skeppy already on the side, but that's a beautiful Seismic Crash to set things up. The wall goes out, the Flashbang as well, the Dome Shield, so many ultimates flying left and right. Rakata on point, but he's going to go down still, and Simsalute is just free-firing. G-Bunny jumps down from the top rope and makes sure that he actually can body slam Prosper Logic. Cuss Cutie as well, takes care of Good Lad, but Storm Avatar is not one to be taken lightly. He's going to take care of him, and he's going to land a beautiful axe on the Simsalute.
They only have Fey Flight. If they want to use to convert, I don't think they will. Overpower is still up on the other side, so that's a good ultimate that they're going to want an answer of some kind for. The last one in the last mid-fight was missed. Can't always rely on that. Everybody very grouped up here. Ricotta has to play so careful. Ricotta keeps getting walked at, I feel. I think he's just overextending a little bit, but he's aggressive, but not finding anything quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, he's once again playing around on these sides right here. He's going to be able to keep healing back up just a little bit. The Simpson is actually being dealt with by Skep. He has to use the Fade Flight, but it's a little bit too late. It's not good at all. He's going to be able to be taken down by that. Ricotta and G-Bunny are also being dealt with. The overtime timer is there. Contesting is available. And right now, Cuss all the way in the back. He gets dealt with as well. Zarini still contesting, but it's not going to be enough. Coming into this fight, this is it. This is a 3-3 against Flashpoint.
They're missing their difference maker.
They are. They're missing the Fade Flight.
That's what they needed.
Exactly.
More than anything, and they don't have it here. Simsloo maybe thought he could get a heal, but it's so hard for Cuss to cross that angle. And again, they're not thinking of the right answer to Skeppy. The answer to Skeppy isn't stop him from coming in. He's a tank. You don't really have the resources to put someone in the way, right? You need both your tanks locking out everybody else. The answer is to let him come in and then immediately burn him before he can get something done. Damage charts very stacked, I think, in favor of the Simsaloo currently. Ricotta right below him, and Prosper's catching up, but it's tough for him to stay able to just keep free firing. It's so tough for him to pull that off.
Yeah, 4 seconds until the match is beginning, and now the gates are wide open. This is it. This is going to be the fight that's either going to match things or break things, honestly. It's going to end up with Flashpoint tying up with a 2-2 or making all the more difference. They have 4 ultimates. They're going all the way around to the back. They aren't aware. Cuss already knows, but it's a little bit too late. They're going to be able to swap down onto Ricotta and try to put as much pressure as possible with that Tempest at their back. They're going to be able to deal with it with 15%, and Simsaloo is already there. Drops the dead zone. They have to peel back for Cuss, and they already have the Whirlwind all the way in the back. They use the Inflame as well. They take care of him. They may have gotten a little bit too greedy, or have they? They take care of Cuss, but Prosper goes down. They went all the way into the back to set that up as solo Whirlwind to keep their teammates alive, and they are losing this fight. The Dome Shield goes down, but Legacy is still alive. Simpson's going to walk into the Dome Shield and make sure he drop that damage 24% to 30, and PK are looking good right now.
Huge stagger by Good Lad. Seismic Crash still available for the Knights, including Fade Flight and Flashbang very soon. Hexafire used during that fight, but so much damage dealt. Overpower does not connect.
No.
That's so crucial for Flashpoint. They needed that, and they didn't get it.
And they dropped the dead zone as well. This might be it. That is so unfortunate that you missed that. The body block for Good Lad as well. They cannot make it back. That Flashbang goes out. 87% for Pittsburgh Knights to 96 to 99 to a point conversion and a set win for the Pittsburgh Knights. But my goodness, did Flashpoint make that an absolutely amazing set. Congratulations to their run in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. Flashpoint putting up a great fight, but it was not enough in the end. The Knights had, I gotta say, I can't believe that game was as close as it was.
I feel like neither can I.
Not because console, PC, whatever. Ignore that. Just look at the drafts on paper. PC team versus PC team. Knights win that.
Right.
Straight up, and I can't believe that game went to a 3-3.
I cannot believe that either, and I'm glad that you put that out there. PC versus console, whatever. That doesn't matter. You look at the drafts on paper, it does not line up. That is surprising that they actually were able to sort of be that close, to sort of be that behind.
But you look at console versus PC, and again, Flashpoint, amazing run in this tournament, really showing that these players can fight. They can compete. But in the end, the Knights were the ones who clutched it out, booked their ticket to the quarterfinals. They're going to be, we don't know who they're playing quite yet. That's for the next couple of days, tomorrow specifically, to decide the seeding. But again, our PPL teams, they all made it.
Yeah.
That was it.
They all
top 8.
did it. Yeah. I mean, this very, very last set of the day. I mean, Pittsburgh Knights are the one that take it. And once again, as Kresnik pointed out, those are all of the PPL teams. The top 8 are already here, and we're going to be seeing some interesting matches. I am 100% for sure decide who they're going to be playing tomorrow. But once again, that's all that we have for the set. We're going to throw it right back to the desk to get their thoughts.
Thank you very much, Fawn and Krez. 4 PPL teams enter. 4 PPL teams go on to the quarterfinals. Hats off to everyone who has played here this week. We still got a full day tomorrow. That's going to determine quarterfinal seeding. But as far as the teams contending for the quarterfinals, Flashpoint is the last to fall. I can't understate. I think they surprised everyone this week. They went to 7 points against the Knights twice in this set.
They
lost
played
both
better
of
than the
those 7.
PML teams.
I don't think you're wrong in saying that. I think Flashpoint, if you look at this set specifically, and I don't want to speak for the Knights, but I'm sure with it being as close as it was, they've got a lot to tweak up and get ready for tomorrow and for sure for Saturday. But Flashpoint, I think, played so well. The expectations were set where they were coming into this week, and I think Flashpoint blew them out of the water. If you look at this 4-game set, 2 of the wins of the 3 that the Knights had were in 7 points. You flip-flop a little bit in some of those last 0.7 team fights, and suddenly you have Flashpoint on top with a 3-1 win here in this set. So I don't think it can be understated how surprising and how awesome it was to see Flashpoint do the way they did this week. I think Simsalou, though, 27-15. He had a slow start to this week. Still has some stuff to work on into tomorrow, but they call his name, they give him the Willow, and that's who they needed. Simsalou made it work.
Yeah, Simsalou on the Willow against a triple tank and double support. That's huge for PK. And at first he wasn't doing as good, and then he started to, step it up. He did have a Fae Flight that got immediately shut down, and that was scary going into the 3-3. But he was able to still pull it out. And also Flashpoint missing the overpower.
Yeah, it's big.
Dome shield when your team goes down. Couple key mistakes there for Flashpoint cost them that last round and ultimately the game. But Simsalou, he played amazing that game.
And I think
that felt like a game 5.
It did, didn't it? Yeah, it was a game 4. There was still one more to play potentially after that. The Knights do end up getting the win. And now you look at them. So we have Space Station, Kanga remaining in our top bracket. We'll look at the bracket later on. But then the Knights now will move on to play Renegades tomorrow for some seeding. But I think the story here is Flashpoint.
If Flashpoint won, are they beating Renegades?
Maybe.
Man.
Maybe. I don't know. I truly don't know. I think the Renegades had a good set here today. So, that's all by the wayside. I think Flashpoint had a phenomenal week. But it's the Pittsburgh Knights in 4 games that book their ticket to the quarterfinals. See how Cuskutty's feeling.
Thanks.
Hey, what's up, guys? And welcome down. Of course, congratulations to you guys. Now, once again, Flashpoint, you guys did win 3-1, but the sets were close. Were you expecting the drafts? I mean, what was it like being able to play against them? I mean, it was really, really close.
Today just felt sort of like a fringe case where actually last time we played against Kanga, we had a similar scenario happen where we just were out of our zone. People were a bit on the back foot thinking about what they're going to do first. And I know like in one interview I mentioned when we fixed things, it was the moment that we started thinking about ourselves. It was the moment that we were the proactive ones making the first move. Today it felt like we kind of reversed back just a little bit, and we identified this, but again, making it happen is easier than just identifying it. So we just had to put it into action next up.
Do you think it had to do maybe with the loss you guys took earlier today?
Oh, absolutely.
How do you recover from a loss, and you have to play a game that important immediately after?
I think maybe just adjusting to the fact that I think maybe we had the excuse of, hey, man, it's just seeding. I think that was always a valid case that made people play more freely. Now that there's money on the line, I think people are just sort of adjusting to that gravitas behind it.
Where are you guys' sights kind of set for quarters? Like, how important is the seeding moving into the top 8 for you?
Honestly, there's not really too much in my mind about the seeding. It's more about just making sure we're on the upward trend as a team more so than our placement.
Yeah, I don't think we could play any worse than we did today. So I think blue skies ahead.
I have a question about Shattered Desert in general. It was kind of a rough start on that map, I feel. Do you guys think you just weren't ready for the style, like that double backline death ball weirdness that they were doing, or was it something else?
Today, I guess the grand summary of why today was so rough for us was because we lost our ability to play at medium tempo today. We were always absolutely slow or absolutely fast, and we couldn't find that middle ground.
Okay, well, thank you very much, guys. Congratulations on qualifying to the quarterfinals over Flashpoint. That's going to be it for the day, so we're going to send it back to the desk to wrap it up.
Thank you very much to them for sitting down with us and wrapping up our day. I agree with that sentiment. I mean, you get through I think they realize as much as maybe we do. Off day for them. Obviously, some things that normally are clicking weren't quite as much. And you can't hang too much, I don't think, on one player, but you look at kind of what Ricotta specifically on that Strix brought to the Hype console matchup. And it was much quieter today against Flashpoint, and whether that's maybe an off day for him or a great performance out of Flashpoint, I think that's a big difference maker here as well. When it's all said and done, though, the Pittsburgh Knights, our PPL team, they've moved on. They grabbed themselves the win in a spot in the quarterfinals. Here's your updated bracket: Space Station and Kanga, the last 2 teams alive from that winners bracket, so they'll face off tomorrow for a shot at the winners finals. And then down in the lower bracket, you can see all of the fun that we've had this week. And down to the other 2 PPL teams, and the Renegades and the Knights, who will also be going up against one another. So the loser of that matchup, they'll lock up 4th seed. The Knights will compete with the loser of the top matchup for the next seed, so on, so forth. So tomorrow, that's what we've got in play. All of that seeding to be decided. And Blue, I kind of like what the answers have been from the PPL guys, where obviously seeding, I think, is important, but anyone can sort of beat anyone on any given day. So I think tomorrow for a lot of these guys is just making sure that things are fixed, things are all nice and buttoned up, because Saturday, that's the important day. You got to show up then. You know, tomorrow you can lose, you're still in, but Saturday is where it's important. So I think that everyone's just trying to trend upward going into then.
It's pick your poison. I mean, if you're the what if you're the top seed here, you face
Envy.
That's the defending world champion.
Yeah.
If you're the second seed here, you face
Virtus Pro.
the hottest team right now. If you're the third seed, you face
NIP,
which is the most dominant team all year if you include
Right.
everything. And then if you're the fourth seed, you face
Navi,
which is the defending champion before that one.
Yeah, I don't think there's, winners or losers, but I think in reality anyone can truly beat anyone. After today, we've got all 4 of our quarterfinal teams locked in. We're going to have seeding all figured out tomorrow, so you want to make sure to keep an eye on that, because those Saturday matchups are going to be a lot of fun to watch. As always, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We're here live from Atlanta. The players are here. The stage is set. Let's get some baseball!
This is where we also talk about the new stuff that we've got coming out for you all.
Look, HRX is literally my favorite time of year. It truly isn't close. This is what I live for.
It's that second place. I can't wait to see what first place is.
It's HRX.
Why didn't you call? Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Can you feel me? Do you miss me at all? Do you think about the things we used to do?